Okay, yeah. Are we recording?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, so I have still been playing Destiny. I actually, earlier the other day, I was like, I'm going to do what Eric does. And do the stinky little, I'm going to go to the Shuro Chi checkpoint. And
It's a great time.
work on some catalysts.
It's a great place to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you know that Quicksilver Storm, which was like the pre-order bonus auto rifle that does like the rockets or grenade launcher thing?
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
Okay.
You may not like it.
I didn't like it when it came out, but they may have changed things about it.
Maybe. Like, I have found that the grenades are actually, like, they pack a pretty good punch.
Yeah.
Not in Legendary Campaign, but...
It just was a very odd gun. It just, like, didn't really vibe with my play style.
That's fair.
But, like, I didn't have like, it seemed cool. It was equal parts. I was like, that's cool that they seem to literally make something where they're like, let's just grab 9 adjectives and put them together, and that is a gun. Like, I respect that, but then there is the other side of it where it's like, it kind of feels like you picked 9 adjectives out of a hat and said, this will become a gun.
My personal theory is that, like, so the gun was like the pre-order bonus that you technically could have already had access to before.
Yeah.
But you didn't have access to the catalyst, which you now do have access to the catalyst. It's like part of a quest or whatever. The catalyst, when you get it, makes it so that the damage type of your weapon is now strand.
Okay.
And that makes it so that, like, every so often you get kills, it'll leave like a tangle. So like it uses your tangle cooldown, but like there's some cool builds with strand specifically, like where you can use that gun. There's like only a handful of strand weapons, so that's kind of the other thing.
Little sniper rifle.
Yeah, I don't like that sniper rifle. Not a big fan.
Yeah, no. I mean, a sniper rifle primary is already, that's a hard sell. Well, actually, just snipers.
Well, a kinetic.
I've never liked, kinetic rather. I've just never liked. I never liked sniper rifles in any game, in any context. That was always Josh. Big ups for Josh. I'm not good at them. I'm like fine, and as I've gotten older, I've gotten worse because I no longer put value on my reaction time, which is not that because like that's there's this YouTuber that I watch. Where Rick Gackus here. No, he does like pretty cool, insightful videos about like Halo, specifically like campaign levels and stuff. I think I've actually already talked about him, but I can't remember his name. But basically, like one of the things that he talks about is that like when he's like doing the footage for all of these videos, he plays on normal now, and he's like like I used to play on Legendary, but I'm older now and like I just can't like do it anymore. And at first I was like, that's not a good enough reason. And because it's like, like your reactions get like a little bit worse as you're older, but like the guy's like mid-30s probably. So I'm like, your reactions don't get that bad that fast. But I was like, but then and so like I still play on Legendary and stuff, no problem.
It was hard.
It's hard, but it's how I like playing Halo. I like that challenge. It works in that context. But I will say then some stuff where I see people like just like going nuts, like no scoping with fucking sniper rifles and everything, and I'm like, okay, that's too much. And I'm like,
too hard.
But I don't think. But I was like, but I was never really good at those things. So I think there is, of course, an element of like, as you get older, your reaction time decreases. But I think the bigger thing is that as I've gotten older and I play games less, I've put less interest in maintaining like reaction time and keeping up with like fast gameplay and stuff. And it's like, I think that's the bigger thing.
It's like, it's just not a priority.
Yeah. And so I guess like you can put that under the blanket of like, oh, I'm older, so like I can't do that. And it's like, well, you could. You're probably just aren't interested in
like
learning
I don't care about like a big KD
skill
or anything like that. Like
it's not.
I'll have to at some point take it off and just like work on it sideways.
Take it off.
Everybody take it off. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Copyright free audio.
Do you ever like on YouTube Music or any of them probably, but I use YouTube Music.
Because it's Google Play Music was taken from us.
You're absolutely right, and I won't forgive them for that.
I don't know if it was better.
It was.
Was it?
In certain very specific ways that they could still have in YouTube Music, and they chose
there was no reason to remove
to deprecate those features.
Oh, my apologies.
Oh, people won't know what we're doing, but
I didn't turn it off last week.
You're not using any more of my batteries.
That's fine.
In that thing.
Nope.
Batteries aren't cheap.
No.
And I've had it.
I understand. No, I didn't realize that I didn't turn it off 2 weeks ago.
So I was bopping, like you're listening to a playlist and then like it starts doing like random play stuff. And this one, it was good. I was like, oh shit, like we're getting like some good fucking hits. Like it made like a really good playlist. And I was like, I should save this, but I didn't because I was like, it's fine. What could happen?
What's the worst that would happen?
It's $10, Michael. Like it'll be fine. I'm listening, I'm bopping, I'm having a great time. I'm like, I don't know some of these songs, but I'm getting to know them and I like them. This is a good time, gal. I'm on my phone, bit bopping, like you do. I'm on a certain application in which people post pictures and information about themselves in an effort to form a connection.
Facebook.
You got me.
Busted shithead.
One of the people on this application, their description was, Alexa, play such and such a song. And I was like, okay, I'll bite. So I was like, I selected the song and I tried to hit play next so it would just throw it into the playlist. Because
sometimes when there's a cutie, maybe a little something
hottie with a body,
there's somebody who has piqued your interest,
right?
You may go out of your way to be like, oh, they're listening to a song, I will listen to it.
I'll give this song a try. Well, since that's the only thing in their description, I was like, surely this is representative of them in a very fundamental way.
Yeah.
So like, I'll give it a try. I didn't hit play next.
Oh.
My fingy slipped.
What'd you hit?
I just hit it.
Oh, so you just played it.
So it just played it. So it wiped the playlist because it doesn't like add it to the playlist at that point. It plays that song and begins a new playlist. So
you're not on the previous playlist.
And it was gone because it was just like a pre-generated one that came off of the songs that I had selected.
Like it was like you had just selected a song and then it's just been
auto-played. Yes. And I was like, this is amazing. And then because of that individual, I lost that playlist.
And so you swiped left?
And the worst part about it, it wasn't a good song.
What was the song about?
I don't know. It was some like party trash. And I like party trash, but this was like...
But like to make that your like tagline? With no other information.
No other information. I mean, from a sheer affront standpoint of like you, without knowing it, have made me lose a good playlist, swipe left. Also, if this song is really representative of you, swipe left.
Yeah.
Because it's not... It wasn't great.
It's fine.
It was fine. I can't even remember what it is, and that's I think that's most telling.
Yeah.
It hurt my heart. The playlist.
Yeah.
Lost.
Yeah.
Nothing about that person. I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah. No. Fuck them.
But my playlist.
In a similar vein to music, for my sister's baby shower, my dad and my stepmom and my foster sister came down, which was very nice to see them and was good. But, family coming to visit in your house, always a good time. It's, very different.
Yes.
Well, it's actually a lot less different than when you go visit them. But
now you're on the other side of the table.
But I can't just go into my room and play Fortnite.
Well, you can.
I did once everyone went to bed, and I slept in my office. I thought I could just throw my comforter down and then sleep on top of that, and I fucked my back up real bad. Not remembering and realizing that as part of Cecilia and Tyler moving, all the shit we just need stuff out of the way, so stuff got just dumped into the room.
Yeah.
My yoga mat was there.
Oh, yeah,
I should have done that in hindsight. But I'm now I know. So instead of beating myself up over it, it's just, if I'm ever in that situation again. Which I didn't have to do what I did, but I had a very good reason for doing so, and I stand by it. And, I don't regret it. It just sucks. All of that to say, I'm in the car the next day driving. Right. We wanted to go get bagels.
Right.
And because my dad had heard me talk about the bagel shop.
Right.
And the last time I'd really talked about it was when I lived at my last place.
Nearer to said bagel shop.
Much nearer to said bagel shop. And so I then realized, okay, well, there's that one and the one that's by my parents' old house.
Right.
And I'm like, those are the two options. And to be honest, they're about equidistant.
They're pretty much equidistant. Yeah.
So I went to the one near my old house.
Right.
I later found out there's apparently one much closer at like the 101.
Oh.
Yeah.
Must be newer then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I didn't even know that there was like another location. So like that was good to know. My sister filled me in. But it was good because me and my dad were gone for about an hour ultimately, which was good in terms of like babysitting. Anyone with family that comes to visit completely understands. And we're in the car and like, we're just chilling, like going to get bagels because like the night before all he talked about was like, I'm gonna get a pastrami like bagel sandwich. I'm gonna be so excited. I wake up, it's like 8:15. I finally get up because I'm like, I gotta go get that leaf blower. I texted Josh, I'm like, you got a little blowy? Because I want one. I want a little blowy.
Right.
Which was good, except his was not wire, like cordless. I had to plug it in, which I thought that the way that you plug in was so weird.
Because it's the opposite.
Yeah, it was very cool. But like also it kept coming out.
Yeah.
And I ended up I made it work and it wasn't perfect. It was one of those where I'm trying to do a lot of things in 1 hour's worth of time where I'm trying to like still learn to use it and be efficient.
Corded leaf blowers are actually much better because a leaf blower uses up battery so incredibly fast.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
So incredibly fast.
I don't mind. It's just one of those where like now that I've used it once, I'm like, okay, so I want to buy a new extension cords and like if I get one, I'm going to buy one that I can do that or like it comes with a long cord or something because like maneuverability and whatnot because his was also he's like mine is old so like it's also not the best but I'm like it's better than what I have. All of that to say I'm in the car and I listen to a lot of things and like I like a lot of decent top 40. I listen to like a lot of like ska punk. I'll listen to like rap. Like I'll even listen to country every once in a while. And like I used to be very I hate country and in general I dislike most country and I do mean repurchase dislike country just because like I don't know man I'm tired of like it's the same 4 adjectives you just jumble them up you
could say that about pop though it's just a different 4 adjectives
but I also don't
I
like
those adjectives.
Yes I also do
fair.
think a lot of pop is trash
yeah
like at the same time and like but like that's just it. It's okay if it's trash if people still like it.
Yeah
like a lot of the shit I listen to is complete and utter garbage. And so I was listening to, at the time, it was the IBTC by Ham Sandwich was just on my playlist in my car, just going whatever. And my dad just looks at me and goes, since when do you listen to rap music? And I'm just like, what? And like, I didn't explain to him what the song was about, which is, trying to fuck, like the itty bitty titty committee, like anime. It's about fucking anime women, which is like the majority of like trash music I listen to for like, I gotta go to the store. So I'm gonna like this is some heinous shit to be listening to while I'm in the like spice aisle, who cares? Cause fuck them. Why are you listening to my headphones? Get out of here. And I'm just, but he's like, why don't you listen to, like, since when do you listen to rap music? And I looked at this man. I'm like, I'm 30 years old.
Right.
I'm like, what? He goes, I don't remember you ever listening to this. And I'm like, I just was like, I mean, I don't know, Dad. I liked Eminem when I was like in high school. What? I was so befuddled because like this just came out of nowhere in terms of me like, because I just happened to turn up the music a little bit because like, it's just a quiet, awkward drive. And I love my dad, but my dad can be a little spacey. Just because like he's old and, he gets that wild look in his eyes because he's overwhelmed and then he lies about it. My dad will be sitting there like on the borderline of a panic attack and I'm like, hey, are you okay? Do you want to like go sit in my room on my bed where it's a little bit cooler and like Zuki's there, just hang out for a bit? He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, okay. And then he'll later on go, yeah, I wasn't fine. And I'm just like, can you stop this? Like, normalize telling people that it's okay to not be okay and that it's like, no, dude, trust me. Like, I can see that you're uncomfortable, and like it's just gonna make me mad that you're choosing to just do that. Like I am doing the thing, right? Like that we all wish when we're uncomfortable at a party that someone would just like say something, because like I don't have the courage to do it myself. I'm like,
right.
I'm doing that, my man. Come on. He doesn't want to. And I'm just like, I just felt, I know I don't have a point to this. You can lead a horse
to water.
You can make him drink.
And you can shove his head under the water and he'll drink or die.
He'll have enough water for the rest of his life.
Listen, you know what they say?
I don't know what the point was, but like it was just a very weird question, like out of nowhere. That I'm like, am I like 13 now? Like, what's happening? Anyway, you were just saying.
What was I just?
I don't know, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cap it.
You know what they say?
Mm-hmm. Tell me what they say. Because they don't teach you this at Harvard Business School.
They don't teach you this.
They say it's better to be over the hill than under it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm going to need to see what this Hill guy is packing before I decide.
That's Hank Hill to you?
To you.
You know, who's the Hill guy? Well, is it Hank or Bobby? There's a difference.
I don't know. I'm hot.
Are you hot?
I'm kind of fucking hot. I'm going to be honest. I don't know.
I will admit, like,
I think we're filming earlier.
We have that
like
fan.
The sun is hitting, and I think it's getting hot.
I think like the temps in general have just started to go up because like I was sweating a little bit, but then I realized
to talk about the weather, but not right now because I'm hot. Can we change?
Yeah. All right. We're gonna be right back. Just a second.
Sorry, guys. Okay.
All right. Cool.
That's a little bit better.
AC feels a little bit cooler.
A little bit cooler.
Yeah. A little bit more breathable.
Okay. So, but what I want.
I'll have to go grab my hoodie at some point. Not right now, but like just because I forgot I'm gonna try to string it. Yeah.
So
the weather.
Not to just like fully embrace my like alternative identity as like a 48-year-old mother of 3, but like, have you been outside today? It's lovely out today.
A perfect day. And yesterday, quite frankly, was a perfect day.
It was. Like, listen, not to be that, but like, we should be playing outside.
Question.
I'm listening. I'm not actually going to go outside today.
I was going to say, is there an outlet outside? This would be an absolute pain in the ass to like move down, but also not really, because we wouldn't bring all the lights.
But maybe next week it'll be really nice.
Maybe next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now we have to have the mobile set.
I would enjoy an outdoor episode, but excuse me, but like,
oh, we should get a croquet set. Like just as like a, okay guys, real quick.
But just pose with it?
Well, just like a croquet break, and then for just like 5 minutes, you can't even really, we're mic'd up.
Oh, yeah.
But there's just like a camera.
Okay, yeah.
Like, that's just, looking at us, and it's just like, okay.
Okay, yeah.
They're playing croquet, but like they're not, like, this isn't even content. It's just like, well, you don't know.
It is content.
It's like golf with no hole.
Yeah. And hoops.
Hoop. There it is.
There it was.
There it will be.
And there it shall stay. Wherever it falls, there may it be buried.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but no, the weather's been like really nice.
It's been very nice.
And like yesterday for like my sister's birthday, I have said it was like a bridal shower, birthday shower, the baby shower with my little my baby hand.
Your tiny baby shower hand. Just a few fingers.
I wish like we could come around and like grip.
Grab the.
It's just not. But yeah, like I remember even Tyler saying, she goes, "Is today not like a perfect day?" And I'm like, yesterday was the right day for like it being overcast out, but not like, oh, it's gonna rain today, because like it didn't. Or if it did, it didn't rain near us. So it was like very pleasant of like, as someone who appreciates a good overcast. But I did notice on my drive over here that like, oh, it's like a spring day. Like
it is a perfect day out today.
Mm-hmm.
It's lovely.
I'm gonna spend it all day inside.
I went out to go get the mail earlier.
Mm-hmm. Was he good?
It's pretty good. I mean, like, could have been better, but it fit.
Mm-hmm.
And
right in your slot.
Right in my fucking slot. Came with the extra key and everything.
Oh.
But yeah, it
turned to sender.
It was lovely out. Yeah. Budamus. I was like, I want to like just be outside.
Yeah, like
I was like, at first I was like, I want to go for like a run. I was like, I don't even want to run. I just want to sit. in the nice outside.
Like, why not just like sit on your phone outside?
I'm like, I want to like ride a bike.
Yeah.
Like just for fun.
Did you?
No, because
Yeah.
At the time I thought you were gonna get here at any moment.
Yeah. Oh, because this was at like 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Which.
But then
there's the freeway was blocking, and so like I feel bad. Again, I should have communicated.
It's not your fault.
But also, you know, I'm like I'm making my way
shit
there.
to do. I kept busy.
That's what I assume that like we're at the point too where it's like, okay, they're supposed to be here at 1. It's like, well, I'm just gonna I've already factored in that like you could be showing up, so whatever I'm doing, like you're not gonna be recording voice lines.
Right. It was like, I'm not gonna like start an audio or go for a bike ride, but I was like, I can do various sundries upon the computer.
Yeah, some things I've been meaning to do.
Yeah.
Like checking just Amazon and then saying there's my extent of my search.
I can specifically engage with the internet superhighway. Nope, information superhighway. I said
Data
it incorrectly.
speeds.
I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. We all say www. World Wide Web is faster.
You're right. It's less syllables. But it's like not what we necessarily mean when we say it. It's a problem.
World Wide Web dot.
Which is
Google.com. You ever think about that?
No, I
Think
don't.
about it.
And now I'm mad
Have
because
fun.
like that makes because it's like you're literally like, okay, where do you want to go? Well, in the World Wide Web, I want to go to Google.com, which like com is not like it's an actual.
It stands for something.
Like .com, .net.
It's not a. Like it's not like. Oh my god, what's the word? It's not like a www where it stands for something. It's a shortened version of something.
Yeah.
It's not like a true abbreviation. It's like a whatever you'd call that.
It starts with like an A abbreviation.
No, because abbreviation would be like World Wide Web being www, right?
Okay.
This is just like a shortened version. I don't know what you'd call that. I can't think of the word.
What does .com mean? .commercial. It's short for commercial.
Oh, there you go.
.com is a bit of a catch-all since this domain name is available to anyone. It differs from more restrictive domain names like .edu, .mil, which is like education. Yeah, .gov. What are they? What was it just called? It's a domain names.
I mean, we got our HTTPs, our hypertext transfer protocol.
Yeah.
Our HTTPS, our hypertext transfer protocol, secure for those that fear.
Oh, that's
for
right.
those with fear.
So TLD is an acronym for top level domain. And it is the last part of a web address that appears like .com. Okay. You've likely run into several of them. There are over 1,000 to choose from.
.biz.
Yeah.
You have a .biz. Sorry.
So like there's GTLD, which is a generic top level domain, which includes like .com, .net, .gov, .org. Okay. STLD is a sponsored one, so that would be like .museum, .travel, .sch sort of thing. And then CCTLD is short for country code top level domain, so like .ca, .uk, .ue or .ae.fr, .tv. Like twitch.tv is like, I believe it's like, it actually is something.
Tel Aviv.
No, I think it's like Tunisia. .tv.
So they like registered it like in the country of origin, so that way they could have .tv. That's why.
So the domain name .tv is the Internet Country Code top level domain for Tuvalu. Except for like reserved names like com.tv, net.tv, org.tv, and others, any person may register second level domains under .tv. The name is popular and thus economically valuable because it is an abbreviation of the word television. It was introduced on the 18th of March in 1996.
Okay.
From the government of Tuvalu, or Tuvalu. Because like anytime you can get like .tv, like that feels like a good one.
It feels like a good one.
Like that's really cool. And so like it's Tuvalu, which is a country.
I didn't know such a thing existed.
Formerly known as the Ellis Islands, like ELLICE.
Oh, I know the Ellis Islands.
Like Ellice, almost. They're an island country and microstate in the Polynesian subregion of Oceania in the Pacific Ocean. Its islands are situated about midway between Hawaii and Australia.
Work.
And yeah, they have a population of 11,204. and it has a total land area of 26 square kilometers.
I wonder how much of like that country's revenue comes from them snatching that .tv, because good for them.
So looking at their GDP estimate, like in 2020, was like total 45 million per capita, $2,970. I don't know exactly what that means. They use the Tuvaluan dollar and then like the Australian dollar.
Okay.
They drive on the left side of the road.
Oh,
interesting.
Oh,
that's really cool.
That's how I feel about driving on the left side of the road.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because we don't. We drive on the right side of the road.
Correct.
Which feels like a misnomer because it's not necessarily like the correct side of the road. It's just that we have a right away.
We just do it on the right.
The left of way. I don't know. Hello.
What up?
Welcome
To the
Hell Yeah podcast. We're here. We split it and lick it, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I crack it open and see what's inside.
Mm-hmm. Like a Kinder Egg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Like a Wonder Ball. Do you remember Wonder? What's in a Wonder Ball?
It was like there was like chalk candy in it.
Yep. And like shitty stickers.
Mm-hmm. But like
no one wanted it.
But you kind of did.
You did, because it was it was sponsored by Disney. So like Kid Brain was like, oh, that's
or like
a cool
Nickelodeon.
thing. Yeah. Like they'd have like different ones or whatever. I remember there was like a Hercules one. I was like, oh, I fucking love Hercules.
Like I want it. It wasn't that good, but like you never got it, so you wanted it.
So when I was a child,
Travel.
We have 3 references on this podcast.
Can you spot them all?
A clue. So when I was a child,
Travel well.
the movie Hercules came out.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my sister and my 2 cousins.
The criminal.
No, that's my older cousin.
Okay, he didn't go to Hercules.
Well, I mean, all my cousins are older, but that's my oldest cousin.
I understand.
Of the cousins that we consider cousins. I actually have 2 older cousins, but they were so much older that we considered them more like uncles.
Yeah. Where like the
me?
age difference, they're at they're the youngest, or like they're so old but like so young that like they don't really fit. So it's like
how old was he?
It's that like we're cousins, but you're my uncle.
Pretty much.
Or the vice versa of like, you're technically my uncle, but you're so young that it's more like you're my cousin. Like, I'm not going to call you my uncle.
I don't have any of those, but I have the cousins that are so old, they might as well be uncles.
Two sides, different coin.
Yes.
Or different sides, same coin.
As the youngest, tiniest, babyest of,
Sweet little man.
Of my family.
Infant.
I'm only used to the flip side of it, of like, well, this cousin is basically an uncle. Anyway.
Hercules.
My closest cousins in age, when we were all growing up, we would like be together often, the 4 of us, myself, my sister, and my 2 cousins. And so we were at my parents' house. This was during the summer, and my mom was a teacher. So we would all like often be at my parents' house because she could watch us, whereas like all of the other parents, it was not, summer was not a break for them. Yeah. So we were often over at
a summer workcation.
Yes, we were often at my
complication
at my family home with my mom watching us. And
sad.
Hercules had just come out very recently
in
movie theaters.
The cinema.
I drive a Chevrolet. Yes. And
interior. Crocodile alligator.
You understand.
I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Which the better song is the one where it just repeats that line.
I've never really heard the full song.
It's not. I mean, it's very like lyrically clever. Like it's a lot of good rhyming.
I've only heard the version where it's just that on loop. My favorite thing was back in the day when like we'd all be hanging out in college or whatever, and that one would be playing, and it would take like 5 minutes, and then finally Taylor would snap and be like, "What is this song? This isn't a song. They're just saying the same line over and over again."
And then we'd all in unison just go, "Interior crocodile alligator. I drive the Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator."
My mother looks at the 4 of us, and she said, and like we weren't exactly rolling in dough as a child.
Your mother she didn't have the cake for the bakery.
So my mother looks at the 4 of us and says, "I'll make a deal with you kids.
I'm here to make a deal."
We got one of 2 options.
Your mom said, "Hey, sharks, I'm here to make a deal."
She said, "Hello, sharks." Were you there that night when we played Hello, Sharks?
No, I've always wanted to. You guys have played that one time.
We played it one time.
I think I have played it once, it was after the one time you guys had played it, but then we never played it again.
It was a wild time. So my mother comes to us as investors and says, hello, sharks. Now, she comes to the four of us and she says, okay, here's the deal.
As
kids.
sharks?
Yes. She
The
says,
four of you kids are sitting in your high chairs.
literally. She says, here's the deal, kiddos. We got the money for me to either take all of you to go see Hercules, and then we will come home and have lunch with whatever's in the house, or we can all go to McDonald's, where they are giving out Hercules novelty plates as the kids' toys.
Mm-hmm. Those are, which, like, I know people that still have them.
And, or we can do that. We don't have the money for both. Do you want to see the movie, or do you want McDonald's and a plate? And the four of us unanimously wanted McDonald's and the plate. So we went to McDonald's, and I didn't see the movie for like years afterwards until it was on VHS.
But you loved the fucking plate?
I loved the plate. I had the Muses plate. It was orange. I loved it. My sister had the Pegasus plate. It was blue. My two cousins got the Hercules one and the Phil one, which was, I think, like purple and like.
And then there was a Megara one, right?
There was a Megara one, but none of us got it.
Yeah.
Because there was just the four of us, and my mom wasn't getting a kid's meal.
She's not trying to get that. That's very surprising. They gave you guys 4 unique plates.
Yeah.
A lot of times what they do is just like each, like nowadays it's like the stores have like the boy toy and the girl toy or whatever, and like there's not a whole lot of options. Like you gotta go to a different location if you want different options.
I was very young, so I don't remember all the particulars of like, it may have been that my mom went to bat for us and was like, maybe please have different plates. I don't remember. I don't recall. But we ended up with different plates. And I then much later burnt my Muse's plate, which made me very sad. Mine was like the last survivor, because like my cousins like ruined their plates very quickly. Yeah. And something happened to my sister's plate at some point. The Pegasus plate was lost. And my Muse's, my RIP, my Muse's plate, it had this weird section on it that got burnt where like had like a stir spoon or something, and it had gotten like super hot. Rested it on it.
Hot.
It's a plastic plate.
Yeah.
So it melted that part of the plate, but it was like, they're my Muses, and I'm still holding on to it, and I loved that plate, and it's long gone.
And you could probably get it again online, but you're gonna pay like $30 for this crappy
plastic plate.
It is not the same.
Of a movie that, while I admittedly like it, it's probably my favorite Disney movie because I'm not a huge Disney fan. I also haven't seen that movie in like probably 14 years, and I'm not looking to change that either.
Yeah, like it's okay.
You know that
I've
feeling?
seen it somewhat recently.
Where people are like, "What's your favorite such and such movie?" And I'm like, "Oh, like." Well, they're like, "What's your favorite Disney movie?" I'm like, "Hercules," and then they're like, "Do you want to watch it?" I'm like, "Absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not. I have the treasured memories up here, and that's enough. I don't want to watch it again."
I've played Kingdom Hearts. I've hung out with Phil and the gang. Like I get enough of it.
Lots of people are like, "Do you like Star Wars?" I'm like, "I love Star Wars. Like, let's watch them." I said, "No, get out of my home."
Yeah, I'm down. Are we watching the 8th one?
8th one. Oh, the only good one?
The only good one. I still have never seen Rise of the Skywalker. Like the whatever the finale was for like.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. That fucking dog.
Yeah, that dog. Well,
it's
like,
getting hot. They better not keep leaving that dog outside all the time.
At least give somebody. Or maybe they have a door. I don't know.
Could be beef.
Could be. Well, like, I'm surprised at myself because, like, when I first saw the Force Awakens, right? Like, instantly in love with Daisy Ridley. Right. Like, I thought she was absolutely stunning, beautiful. And like, it's Rey, so fucking cute. And like, she's so fucking cool. She's great. But also, this movie is literally just like a Star Wars movie I've already seen, and was
it's a New Hope with new graphics.
It was a new hope, like new Coke, like
good for a sip, not for a swallow.
Absolutely not. Well, I mean, like there were so many parts of it that were cool, but it also like I'm fine with it because there was a lot of fan service, like references and stuff. Because like this is to be expected. It's so cool, and like I am willing to look. I do look past it because that fan service wasn't for me. Even though like I saw the prequel trilogy like in theaters when it had come out because it was super fucking cool. Yeah, and like, but I also with my guy. I'm the person who likes Jar Jar Binks.
Okay, I don't know about that.
That's fine.
But I will say, just to briefly interject, everyone like clowns on the prequel movies. I know that like from like a like critical perspective, they're not good, but I love those movies.
Oh yeah.
Like if someone actually was like, let's watch Star Wars, I'd be like, can we watch the first 3?
Yeah.
Because like first 3, prequel 3, because like that would be more fun for me.
I distinctly remember it's the only time I've had chili with no beans in my like the first time in my life.
Yankee with no brim.
Yankee with no brim.
Chili's with no beans.
We're at like, I'm pretty sure my dad was just selling this guy weed. I don't know. Like it was one of his friends or something. Okay. But like we were over there and they made chili.
Be a story about the chili.
No.
I thought it was gonna be like, I thought my dad sold the beans.
No.
I was like,
so it's just like, it's weird that like I have weird snippets, like a flash of memory of like these two things, but I can't think about like Star Wars Episode 1 without thinking about chili with no beans.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Because like that's just what I was eating at the time. Because I remember like I was like, I don't like beans, and he goes, oh well, like you know like you add beans, so if you want I can make you a can of chili with no beans. And I'm like, will you? He's like, sure. And he like made it for me, and I was like, I suddenly like chili now.
Yeah, chili's
not bad. I'm like, I don't like beans, or I'm not a big bean guy. So but I'm like, at least willing to try it. And I've started to come around with some beans, so like you know, just because like I don't want to be like my father who like is so ingrained in what he hates that it's like, there's a difference between like I don't really like, I don't really want to eat it, that's fine, but like, okay, but are you gonna eat anything? Or like, I'm down to try it, like the no thank you bite shit. He had a poster. I'm at this table, he had a poster on the wall over here in the void, and it was
Will we become one?
Yeah, the one. The like for Phantom Menace like poster, and it was the one where like it's like young Anakin and the shadow is of Darth Vader, and like I don't even remember if that shot is actually like if that shot was in the movie or not. And I think I remember as like later on in my life when I watched it, I'm like, where is it? Like that was so cool.
No, it's not, it's just for the promo.
It was just for the promo, but it was so cool. Of just like I know Darth Vader's cool, like I have seen the original trilogy. I don't remember jack shit from it.
Right.
And I also was not someone that was like all in on it.
It's Halo for you.
Yeah. Well, I just like my dad watched it, but like it was just like, okay, cool. Like, like yeah, it's not bad. It's all right. Like Star Wars became a lot cooler when like I got to, cause they don't want to hear this.
Right.
And I'm talking about people that are older than us, that the original generation of Star Wars fans don't realize that like they clowned so fucking hard on the original, like on the prequels, on episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But like, bro, like Phantom Menace was my New Hope.
Yeah.
Like, or, you know, it was the, whatever the movies were.
Right.
Like, yeah, because it's a New Hope.
New Hope, Empire Strikes
Back, and
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, yeah. So, like, I'm like...
Which was originally supposed to be called Revenge of the Jedi, but at the last minute, they changed it because the Jedi don't seek revenge, but then that was why the episode 3 in the prequel series is called Revenge of the Sith, because the Sith would seek revenge.
Yeah. I just wish they did more gray Jedi stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why Last Jedi was good.
There's so much good, like, Star Wars content. My dad dated this girl a long time ago who had a son, and that kid fucking, like, shit Star Wars. Everything he did was Star Wars. The only music, he didn't like music. I've never met someone who doesn't like music, like any kind of music.
I've met people who claim that.
Yeah.
And I don't believe them.
Like to the point where like my dad's girlfriend at the time, like to try to like maybe help him like music a little bit.
Right.
Like bought him like the really cool like drumsticks where you could like, they're like electronic, like where you could like, it was some toy thing where like you could like play your music and like you're bad at like, it was some cool... Okay. As a kid who played
music engagement toy
was so cool that I'm like, man, I would like that. I play my saxophone, you know, like that's so fucking cool.
Right.
But like, and I got an iPod, which was sick, and then it didn't work. And then I've told it before, very good time. But like the only music that he would have like on like a little iPod thing was like one song, and it was like a
Duel of the
fan
Fates?
song. Not even Duel of the Fates. It was like a fan song about stormtroopers, and like had like a marching beat to it, which is a little sus.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. Which like I'm. This is me as an adult looking back on it. Is like. Interesting. Not that I don't know. I don't know what he's all about. I haven't talked to him in fucking 15 years. So, when you realize that you're not just saying 15 years arbitrarily, but it has been 15 years, as we turn 30 this year.
Well,
yeah, goodness gracious.
I turn 30.
Yeah, I 31 for me. It's been tough.
Better to be over the
I've been under it. He just didn't like any of it. But like he was the guy who played like all like Star Wars, like KOTOR and KOTOR 2, which Knights of the Old Republic apparently are top tier games. It's just
Josh knows about that.
Big ups.
We have to have him on the pod at some point.
We should have him for the outdoor one.
We should. He seems outdoorsy.
Let's hang outside with Josh.
Josh, you're not allowed in my home, but you can be outside of it. Record. Make me content. I love you, Josh. You're always welcome in my home.
We'll have him set up the croquet for us.
Yeah.
You see, these are all
It's a shame
funny,
Josh
but
doesn't
also
have a
don't want
nickname
to.
that ends in a Y.
Yeah, Joshy.
Josh, you pull that shit up. See, that doesn't. Who calls him Joshy? That'd be horrible.
No. So we got to come up with a nickname for him.
Right.
Hogsy.
Stinky.
Stinky.
No, Josh isn't stinky. That's me.
We sit there and we go, where is it?
Middle. Middle.
Hey, Stinky.
Pull that shit up.
Pull that shit up.
And he's just like, man, fuck you.
I'm not fucking stinky.
Stop it. Stop calling me. I don't work for you. I was like, well, Rudy doesn't call it. Rudy's been in hot water lately.
We lost Rudy.
Not like he's dead or anything. We
can't fucking find him.
We lost him at Arizona Mills
Lost
Mall,
him.
and honestly, we just went home.
And then they closed the mills, and he was probably in there.
You ever play Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach? But
Five Nights at Rudy's.
Five Nights with Rudy, and it's just it's
In
all
the
the
Arizona
same
Mills.
in the Arizona Mills Mall, but it's just Rudy. There's no animatronics that are
It's
alive.
just Rudy.
It's
in
just
the Arizona
him.
Mills.
Like he's just like licking the Auntie Anne's like butter shit for their pretzels or whatever.
I have okay. I have to get into it. I haven't had an Auntie Anne's pretzel dog since probably 2015.
Yeah, I don't know the last time I had Auntie Anne's.
And that's been upwards of 8 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I need one
Why don't you go get one?
because I don't want to go
I know
where
exactly.
they are.
I-
you know where they are, and I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm just tired. The thought of stepping in there, my ass is already tired.
Well, if you pull in from
You can get them delivered. I could have it delivered to my sister's house.
Oh yeah,
She
would it
lives-
not deliver here? Or
Probably not.
I mean, you could
It'll
check.
definitely deliver to her house, though.
You could check Uber Eats. I could have one delivered during this podcast.
I have never.
You said you were hungry.
Oh, I'm gonna eat. I have never.
Okay. I was like, sheesh. Goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious. I have never. I have managed to go my entire life without ever having ordered anything through Uber Eats or
Are you trying to keep that
or
up?
TaskRabbit or whatever.
TaskRabbit.
They have food, right?
I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that.
Don't they also
Another
drive around and provide like favors for money?
I don't know what TaskRabbit is, so you asking for clarification is the wrong tree.
I think I'm right.
I'll look it up. Steve, look that shit up.
Stevie,
Stinky.
look that Stinky.
Hey, Stinky.
Look that shit up.
That's what we'll do. We don't need a Jamie.
We don't need a Jamie. We
have
got
a phone.
Stinky.
We got Google.
You got TaskRabbit on your phone. No, what's the other one? Grubhub. Nope.
Oh.
Grub is that they deliver, right?
Yeah.
Grubhub. I'm not crazy. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well,
Why don't you just use your phone?
Well, because I don't want to type it.
How about you use your fucking phone?
What?
How about we get you a Bluetooth keyboard for your phone?
Okay, you joke.
I don't. I've never joked.
Because that would be such a fun thing to have. Because
I don't now know what to get you for your
sometimes,
birthday.
like, well,
Can we mount it here?
mount the
Keyboard and the keyboard
phone.
slot?
Like a little. Nah. Okay. What did you want? It's TaskRabbit. What is this?
Yeah.
Flex. Okay.
Online and mobile marketplace that matches freelance labor with local demand. They provide favor for money.
So you can ask.
This is not a sexual.
You can have
thing,
people.
as
It's
know.
like Fiverr, but like mobile. So like, I need someone to
They're
go do something
drivers.
for me.
It was like, I think like TaskRabbit's like biggest thing was. I mean, I think they used to do like. I don't know. I think like they would get you groceries and stuff. Was like kind of
furniture.
Ooh,
Furniture assembly. Mount a TV, art a shelf.
you can hop on TaskRabbit and be like, "Hey, I don't know how to do this. Come do it." I think. I've never done it.
Yeah, but also like some of this stuff where I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it's like, I don't want to pay like $200 to have
professional
someone
to come give me a quote and such.
yeah,
and, such.
and all this. I'm like, I don't really know how to do it. Like, if someone like, I'll pay $50 for someone to just come and do it. And I'm
Right.
looking at these prices, and it's like,
Maybe you'll become a TaskRabbiter at this
maybe.
point. It's Stranger Things.
Yeah, I wonder. So what do they have? Yard work, lighting installation, hang pictures. Part of me's like, you know,
I thought they were more. Delivery service is the thing. And
Yeah.
I thought they were primarily delivery service.
But this is also really like thinking about it like outside of myself. Like,
Yeah.
like if you're in any way like physically impaired in whatever capacity, like, because I'm like hanging pictures. Like, would you do that? I'm like, well, if you like are someone who like is unable to walk, like if you're like you know, a disability in any capacity where like you can't realistically like get up on a ladder and do that, like being able to pay someone to just come and do it,
Show up and do it.
is
Easy.
nice. You know, because you know something I want to say, I want to put out there
Okay.
is that there's no shame in not knowing how to do something or being unable to do something, and like there needs to be less stigma about it. Like instead of like making fun of people for not knowing how to do it, like just being like, you know, oh well, cool, do you want to learn? Like, because I feel like so many people, like there's a beautiful opportunity, and it happens especially a lot as kids, where like kids, we're all just fucking mean and nasty to each other because we have no concept of like
kids.
Yeah, we're kids, but it's like to foster that in a kid of just like, you know, no, like don't like mock somebody for not knowing. Like there's so many things you don't know. You didn't know how to wipe your ass until like
Also,
a parent
don't
showed
mock
you.
someone for trying and being bad at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because literally, how are they supposed to get better?
Well, that's why like I make a really big point about like anytime we're doing anything, like if I'm like doing stuff like on my server, like I'm like, oh, like let's fucking play what's the like Gartic phone where we're like gonna draw.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, I don't want to play, I'm not gonna. I'm like, I didn't ask you to play, like to join and draw well.
Right.
I wanted you to
here
play.
to fuck around and have
Like,
a good time as friends.
Why do you need to do good at it? Like that doesn't matter. Like we play Mario Kart, and there'll be a lot of times in Mario Kart where I'm 11th and 12th, and I'm not necessarily bad at Mario Kart. I just never play. But like, I'm still talking shit the entire time because that's the whole point.
That's we're playing a game.
And like two, like not once has anyone given a shit after the cup about who won any of the races, even in the race.
No.
It is in the amount of time it takes between the race ending and the next race starting. That is the only time.
That's the window of opportunity.
To boast,
clown.
shit talk, and clown. And then you keep going.
And then we're on to the next. The new maps came out. We have to try.
Oh, yeah. You want to do that after this?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to eat.
Before we do that. Yeah.
I mean, you've already eaten, but I'm going to eat, and we'll do that.
Yeah. Which also, I got to tell you something.
To your point about like learning a new skill,
getting
rid of stigma and everything. I watched a video.
You should encourage people.
Yeah. I watched a video that was sent my way. I think by my sister. I can't remember. Maybe I sent it to her. I don't know. By a creator on TikTok, which like I'm not usually on TikTok, but so I think someone sent it to me then, because otherwise I don't know how I would have found it.
Very much of most of the TikTok that I consume now is when I go to like check the DMs in TikTok and or like on stream, like people are sending me links.
Yeah. Like I'm not a TikTok hater. TikToks are great. I just like having them cultivated by others and then distributed to me. But it's this creator who I just checked it. They go at Trans Handyman.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And they were showing this like really like once you think about it, intuitive way to like hang like a mirror or something, anything that has like two, you know, like rather than like hanging from the center, it has to hang from two things to make sure that they're level and good to go. And it was like so fucking helpful because like I hate anytime I have to hang something
that doesn't have
that has two holes. I'm like, fuck. I'm going to fuck it up because you can measure from the ceiling, you can measure from the floor. It doesn't matter because floors aren't level, ceilings aren't level. Shit's going to be fucky. But like,
and even if you're like, okay, everything's level, then you put it up and it's not. And you're like,
Right.
oh, I can't fix the holes.
well, they showed a way to like do it that like is much more reliable. And I was like, this is so lovely. And then at the very end of the video, I'm assuming it's their tagline. They said, how did they phrase it exactly? Oh, it was, you're worth the time it takes to learn a new skill. And I was like, I like that. That's really sweet.
That's really
I'll
sweet.
say that's really sweet. But
You're
yeah.
worth the time to learn a new skill.
Yeah, you're worth the time it takes to learn a new skill. And I was like, thank you.
Man,
Thank you, trans handyman. I appreciate
that's
that.
really
very
like
sweet of
that.
you.
That's actually like, damn, like that kind of like hits.
Yeah.
Cause like, I was thinking about this morning even of like, there's so many things that like you don't know how to do, right? Like, or whatever. And it's scary and it's intimidating, but also like nobody else knew how to do that out the gate.
Right.
Like, and like not saying that to like make you feel better. Straight up, nobody knows how to do anything.
Unless you're talking about breathing.
Yes, breathing
People
is
are pretty good at
yeah, yeah. Like obviously, like survival
Peeing.
things.
Well, some people don't know how to do it right. Some people don't know proper decorum.
That's true.
But
Some
that's-
people are also unaware. And like sometimes when you're mad about something, a great example, and I'll tell on myself here.
Oh.
I never knew. Yeah, no. So like as a guy,
Right.
I also suffer from spray pee.
Yep.
Like all the time. Like doesn't matter how solid the stream is, there's a soft mist at all times. It's super aggravating. There's not all the time, but
it is a flow of liquid hitting a surface. So
Correct.
You're gonna get some.
You're gonna get
some
splash.
splashback.
And I recall many times from many people, including even yourself, of just like, like this piss all over the toilet seat. And then I'm looking
over the everything.
I'm looking at the toilet and I'm like, I don't understand. There's no, I wiped the toilet because as someone who's like never really cleaned a bathroom, like, because it was never like, I think it wasn't until like Tyler one day, like pointed it out to me because I asked her to, because it was like, I'm not trying to be a shit. It's like, I never thought to look like, it's like, no, when they're saying that, it's like, no, look at like the base of the floor. Like sometimes you need to move and see the angle of the light. And you're like, oh, because like in my path of going, like everything looks good.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like I think I did a good job. It's like, you did a shit job. It's like, well, and instead of being like mad and frustrated, which is understandable sometimes, I think it's very important to tie this back is like, it's so much stuff is like, isn't it like Occam's razor? Like instead of attributing things to malice, it could just be stupidity. And like, in this case, it's like stupidity in the terms of just like,
lack of knowledge.
Is it possible like that? Like I just genuinely had never thought of it. Like I never thought to like look at it from that point of view. And like when you start to think about that and extrapolate it out into more areas of your life, I think like everyone could be a lot more kind in general of just like we're all trying to work together and like people don't know. But like I know for a fact, I think everybody can relate to like being mocked for not knowing how to do something and then letting that make it so you never do it.
Yeah.
Like, because some people have some superiority complex, even though chances are they were dog shit when they started. Yeah. And like sometimes there are just those people that like have a pure talent for something.
Well, and a lot of those people, it was probably that, when they didn't know that thing or other things, they were mocked. And so now they're just sort of carrying it on as a,
like, it's a learned behavior.
As a pass it along. Which is not an excuse; it's only an explanation.
It's like I'm not trying to make you feel bad. We just think it's funny,
right? But it's like, shouldn't you be the break in the line then to be like, oh yeah, I was made fun of for this. Maybe I won't make fun of the next person who's trying to like learn it, or instead of like pass it on. Maybe I'll like stop it.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, like all the guys are chuckling at you because you're trying to do this thing, and it's like you're clearly doing it wrong. But like, there's so much respect for someone who's just going out and trying it. Like, there's a lot, like me spending, I was trying to like make the hype logo, like cut it out, like to do whatever. And like, I don't know if just like my Adderall hit real good as the moons were aligned.
Right.
And like, I spent 2 hours with like my tablet and a pen using transparent color around the entirety, like trying to get like down to the pixel level of like trying to keep it clean. And it still was not perfect by any means. I'm talking to my friend Keiko. She goes, oh, well, let me take a look. It hands it back to me in 3 minutes, cleaner than mine. And I'm just like, how? And she goes, graphic design is my passion. But then I was like, okay. Teach. And then people said like, oh, like go on Canva. So I checked out Canva, which the background remover is a premium service. You'd have to pay the $15 a month for. Yeah. But like, I was like, I'll do the trial or whatever. Like, you know, you get it like a month for free or whatever. Yeah. And then I was like looking at it and I'm like, there's a lot of really cool things. Like the wording, the words for the most recent video on TikTok for the podcast, where it was like, you know, I was like can plus what I was just trying to be silly. Like I got all that in Canva because like so much stuff I realized like I'm like, well, how do I'm like opening up like GIMP or like I use Fire Alpaca now, but like, okay, I need to make a letter. How do I make that effect? And it's like the thing that I think this will ring true for other people because it's true for me is if you think that there's got to be an easier way to do it, there most likely is. And you just got to be brave enough to just search it. Because I'm over here thinking that all of those cool things you have to make by hand every time. And not that like, well, no, you just are kind of like, just go find a font that you kind of like or that looks decent that like they'll already have. And then now you're done. Like in an instant. It is... You don't have to do everything. We live in an age where like so much stuff is like
available on the information superhighway.
The World Wide Web. We brought it back.
worldwideweb.informationsuperhighway.commercial.
Dot Tunivi or Tunavala or Tuvala.
Tuvalu.
Tuvalu. Tuvalu. Tuvami.
Two things. The musical artist who I've always referred to as Tovlo, who apparently it is pronounced Tuvalu.
Oh, it's Tuvalu? I thought it was Tuvlo.
So did I.
Because it's a space. But
yeah, apparently it's Tuvalu.
Or Tuvalu.
Her song, Call on Me. So good. I've made it my personality for the last 2 days. Good time.
Different than Call on Me by Eric Prides?
Very.
Okay. Still a good vibe.
Good song, but a different song. Love that song, actually. But different, but also very good. Same, but different. Don't remember the other thing I was going to talk about. But that's okay. That for you. But that's okay, Sweaty. Yeah. Oh.
Tuvalu.
This was also not the other thing I was going to talk about because I have forgotten that thing, but...
Rest in peace.
A different thing. So... I don't know if you know this about me. But when I was younger, I was a trifle wild. No, I was in. I was in academic decathlon. Of course, you know that about me. You know, everyone knows it about me.
That explains your enlarged cranium.
Exactly.
Look at all those thoughts.
Oh my God. Look at his thoughts. Oh wow.
Wow. Look at his brain. Oh wow.
So I was in academic decathlon.
Me as a kid getting into like the gifted program.
Look at his thoughts. Oh,
I don't want to talk about the gifted program as a kid.
We'll get back to that because now I remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I gotta write this down. I can't forget.
Get your phone out.
Get your phone out.
Get your fucking phone out. So to tie back to the thing that you were talking about like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That was what I realized when I made this like timeline thing of all of my shit. I was like, oh, I have to like figure out how to do this with like the tools I've got, like, you know, that I've already used. So I did this like bastardized version of it, like in Google Sheets, because I was like, I know how to do it and it'll probably work. It was horrible. It looked like shit. It worked like it worked like shit. Like you couldn't do it like properly on mobile because Google Sheets isn't optimized for mobile, because why would it be? It's spreadsheets. It was a disaster. And then I was like, you know what? I literally have this website that I'm trying to build. I'm like, someone in the long history of the universe and of Squarespace.
If someone can make it on GeoCities.
Literally. I'm like, someone on Squarespace has needed to make a timeline before me. And I found this wonderful video. No idea what the woman's name is, but so informative, so helpful. Went through the whole thing, made it, because it is a, I won't get into it because it's a long story, but it is a wildly unintuitive and incredibly complicated process, but it is not difficult. And
it's just time consuming.
Once you know how to do it, it's like, okay, this makes sense. I can make this work, and it works great. You would never think to do it this way, going on, like, just like out of your head. You'd never think to do it this way. But someone else found out how to do it this way, and it was perfect. It perfectly fulfilled all of my needs in a way that I didn't think any single solution could. So, like, look for help.
Yeah.
Academic decathlon.
You remember how I was so excited to write down my note?
Yeah.
I opened up Note.
Gifted program.
That's what it was. Thank you.
I listen when you speak.
Thank you. Like, because I forgot. I just opened it and I went, it's like the TV went out. And I'm just like, oh, God damn it.
Academic decathlon.
Travel Wild.
Travel Wild.
The Academic teacher, though?
Yeah. I got to see her again.
Oh, really? Recently?
It was amazing. Yeah.
I saw her and her husband at the grocery store one time, like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But then also, I am friends with them, both of them on Facebook, and I'm cool with it because they're cool. And then a coworker tried to add me on Facebook recently, and I realized I'm friends with other coworkers. I'm like, I don't know if I want to be friends with them on Facebook. Gotcha. Also, I don't know why I still have Facebook.
I don't know.
I should just delete it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
without getting too far in the weeds, I volunteered as part of a recent academic decathlon event. I volunteered as an interview judge, and it was a wild time.
Oh, because now you're on the other side, right?
Yeah, and like I know, like especially my first year of doing it, because like I did it for 2 years, and I made the team both years, but like especially my junior year, it was a chop.
Yeah,
my interview, it was a chop, because I never would have joined academic decathlon if I had known that I had to do impromptu speech and interview. I was tricked, and I'm so glad I was, because like it's been such an incredible experience, and I'm really grateful for it. But I would not. If
anyone's in college and you have a free elective that you need to take, public speaking is a great course to take.
It is very helpful.
At least the teacher I had was great.
I had a great one too. Some people, I mean, you hear horror stories. Mine was great.
This guy talked about, and the only time I've ever heard it talked about in a positive light, he goes, I got to be honest, messaging is so important, and like your tagline for things is important. He goes, you know, the pro-life people really won when it came to their messaging.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and like, because
you not value life.
Exactly. Because it's like, what's the opposite? Like, he gave like a really like, from like a communication point of view, not even like, because he's like, we're not talking politics too much.
We're just talking about.
He's like, but like, this is a really good example, and like, that's something like once you start to see that kind of stuff, you realize where it's like,
you make more informed,
because it makes it so much easier to defend, you know, that point, but also you know, pro-choice,
absolutely. Which, in fairness,
they
also did a pretty good job of presenting their thing, because it's like, what, you don't want choices in your life, so like they kind of swung as hard as they could.
I thought you had, which is that's just it. It's like. It is a great message, like pro-choice, especially, you know, for people who, you know, want small government. They really like having all the government involved in things, but we're not political here. Well, we are a little political.
We're pretty political,
but we
tend not to talk about politics. We make our opinions.
Yeah, we just don't make it our entire physical identity.
Yeah,
you know, because we're normal people who just, you know,
well-rounded,
are based. Adults. Yeah. And likewise. So anyway, continuing.
Oh, so anyway, wild time. And like,
I've heard a few horror stories from this in the past, but I don't remember them exactly.
I don't want to make fun of anybody, because like, it's really fucking hard. It's so fucking hard.
You are finding humor in it. It is not making fun of them because they're trying something new. It's rather, I remember being in that position.
I've been there.
And I can just think of how silly I looked.
I've been the awkward kid, and like, you get better, and that's okay. But like, oh wowie, some of these interviews, we briefly talked about so like I was doing an interview, other people were doing speech. I was told a story about one of the speech, the kids doing speech
from Taylor.
Yeah, where they, I guess, there was a pee stain on the pants while they were giving their speech. they had like been to the bathroom.
Oh, and they didn't do the shake.
And it leaked
Or
through.
Or whatever. Okay.
And so they're standing there.
Not knowing
that there's just like
a dark spot.
I'm like,
and they could see because they have to stand right in
the
front of you.
judges could.
Like there's no they don't have a podium or anything.
No. You're just standing right there, just staring.
They should
straight
have a
at
podium
it.
to put their notes on.
Well, you shouldn't have notes. If you have notes, you're getting dinged.
Because that's realistic. Anyway, continue.
It is.
I guess. Yeah.
It's a prepared speech. You have months to practice it.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
The impromptu one, you can have notes. You still probably shouldn't.
In general, though, I will say that like I don't think like in a real world application, it's not as important, but
right,
it can be. But I'm like most people use, but now the pseudo way is like teleprompters and shit.
Right. In this case,
but it's still like, rehearsed.
The amount of time that you have to prepare for it, I feel that you shouldn't need notes. Mm-hmm. But like with an impromptu situation,
like it's hard and it's uncomfortable, but like that's just it. Like it's going to be very useful.
Yeah. Well, it's good on a lot of different fronts. You're not only learning about like, presentation and public speaking, but you're also learning about like memorization and stuff, which like is not, an alternative to education by any means, which some testing basically comes down to memorization and is unhelpful to actually like, see if you know the subject matter at hand. But memorization is a good skill to have.
I have like now I just thought of like a whole other point to this, like not to interrupt it again, but like,
go ahead.
With that, I think another thing that we weren't told as kids, not told enough in the like similar vein to like participation trophies, which like, well, who gave us the trophies? Because as a kid, I never cared about like, it was nice to have it's cool that like I had a participation trophy because like I did it, like I attempted it, but like I also like it didn't make me feel better about winning or losing. It just felt like, oh, well, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Well, also, my two things with that is exactly who gave them to it, which generation was the one handing them to us. And second of all, I also very rarely ever got a participation trophy. Like, I don't think, like, that's like a mindset they love to talk about, but that wasn't really that much of a thing. Anyway,
like, thinking about it, and this is just like, those things where I'm like, I'm never going to be most likely, like, in a position to, like, enforce this, like, in academic decathlon at a high school. But like something that is important, and I would implore, like if I end up having a child at some point or being involved in my other friends' lives with their kids, something that I personally feel is only good is like, like especially with academic decathlon, like you're gonna go and like do this speech and like you could do so poorly. Is that like it's also important, although you are competing against everyone else. It depends on your teacher as well. So I don't know how well she did, but like. Expressing that like you're also competing against yourself, and that like if it's your first time doing it, like if you were the judge for like for this speech and you could tell it's this person's first time doing it, going like, hey, it's okay, like I know you're nervous, just do as do your best, it's not the end of the world if you can't, like, or just like you're gonna score no matter what score you get, you're scoring a lot more points than the person who didn't, than who never tried.
I mean, I'm assuming it's a joke, but like, am I missing something?
I don't
know. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't know. Okay.
So yeah, like I'm assuming some meme thing that
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that was like I got myself tripped up by the fake website thing that I made, and then I immediately forgot that I made that joke because I was doing a few things at once, and, and then I was like, "What are you guys talking about?" Never mind, I'm a dumbass. I was just joking around, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about all that, but like basically, my point is that like it's not how assholes in your life, and the type of assholes I'm talking about, where they're like, you just need a fucking participation trophy, like you either are good or you're shit, and it's like. No, again, a very central theme to this week's episode is like, just because it's your first time, like, stop thinking that everything's gonna go great if it's your first time. Sometimes it's not great, and that's okay. But like, you up here, even if you do the worst and you get 1 point, that is more points than the version of you who was too afraid to try ever could get.
Yeah,
and like, there's a lot of like that. It doesn't feel like you're like successful because you're winning, but it's something that you should be trying to foster of like that those are participation points and that there actually is some value. Again, like everybody getting a trophy or whatever, like I just don't give a shit. Like I just don't care. How does this kid getting a participation trophy devalue your number one first place trophy?
Everybody knows it's for participation. So if you are the kind of person who has a hang up about that, you can rest on your laurels about the fact that their award means nothing. But meanwhile, to someone where like that will help them feel better, it helps them feel better. So like it's a net positive all around. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
But
you know what I mean? But like kind of like fostering that type of viewpoint if you're new to something or like a rookie of just like, hey, like, you know, don't stress too much because if anything, it's like it's not like this is a pass or fail test for you of like whether you can hack it or not. It's like this is going to give you a really good idea of where your strong points are and things that you need to work on. And that like please use this time, like this experience as a way to kind of like give yourself, it's not so much that like competing for money or whatever, but like almost like a report card of like how well have you done compared. And like, you know, you know what you could have done better in terms of prepared. And if you're at a point where you're like, I don't really know what I could have done, that's where you got to start like talking and asking questions, you know? Because like sometimes you can try everything that you know how to do within your own self and it's not enough. And that's okay because you only view things from a single point of view. But all you have to do is try to collaborate with someone else in whatever way, just like talking about it. Because like, I mean, all the time, like I'll talk to you about something and like, you'll just make an offhand comment of like, I'm like trying to do something like, well, why don't you just like do this? And I'm like, I never fucking thought of that. And I never would have. Because how you and I have different, like, you know, bases of knowledges and experiences of how you do things that like, you know, some of the coolest things that happen in people's lives are through the efforts of interacting with others. So do that. Continue.
I can't remember.
Anyway, this kid had pee on his pants.
Oh, yeah, kid had pee on his pants. One of the things that I loved most about academic decathlon was that, like, so for those who don't know, I won't go too far down the rabbit hole, but basically the reason why it's called decathlon is because there are 10 subjects, and then there is a theme every year. And so each year you study those 10 subjects, which change. Some of them change.
They tried really hard to get me in one year. I think it was like junior year. I don't remember why.
Yeah, junior year they were really pushing. We were trying to get people on the team.
I was too scared because I felt like you guys were too smart because Brendan was there. And he's my enemy.
Like I said, I probably wouldn't have done it, but I got tricked into it by that teacher. Who I love very much.
Funny though that like there's probably an alternate reality where like we did do it.
Yeah. I'm so glad I did. But you study 10 subjects, a couple of which change every year, and the theme changes. And so like my first year that I did it was my junior year of high school, and the theme was the French Revolution. So you study the French Revolution in a lot of different contexts. So like the 10 subjects are like history, there's a science, the science rotates. So like that year, I believe it was chemistry. You do math, economics, government, so on and so forth. 2 of the topics are interview and speech. And there's 10 total. But what I always liked about academic decathlon was that at least my coach, my teacher, her thing from the very beginning was, you are not going to be good at all of it. We're just going to start there. You're not.
Like, you need to get over that right now.
Yeah. You have to be okay with that. And so instead, what you want to do is you want to find which topics you enjoy, which ones are interesting to you, lean into those ones. You know, and then when you do like your first like scrimmages and your invitationals and stuff where like it doesn't really matter, you're just doing it for like, you know, fun and experience, see which topics you feel comfortable in and which you feel good at and everything, and then lean into those. Like, don't try to be good at all 10 subjects, because like you won't be. A normal person won't be. A person trying to like live a full life of doing all of this is in addition to your normal coursework, you know, like you're going out of your way to like, none of my other classes in junior year were teaching me about French Revolution. So it's like you are taking on all this work in addition to your coursework, to your job if you had one. I did. Like, I had a full-time job. I was so it's like you're doing all this stuff. So it's like you can't be good at everything, and you don't have to be, and that's okay. Lean into the things that you like.
Are you trying and at least like pursuing, like, as a club institution thing that's about like pursuing knowledge and conveying it in different forms. We want you to find where you feel interested to pursue more knowledge and do so. Don't hate academic decathlon because you fucking hate the speech part.
Right.
Like
that's one part.
That's okay. Go ahead and hate the speech part, because then there's that one kid who like he can't do what are some of the other subject things like or challenges like economics like or someone who's no
can't do it.
Can't
Statistics.
Do it.
Can't do that.
Can I just do a speech? That's so much easier.
Right.
Like because I can talk, I can be animated. And
right.
That gives you points.
There are kids who are like they feel so much more comfortable in those like qualitative ones where they're like I get to just like I get to just interact with a person. I don't have to sit here and like remember a million facts. I get to just like engage with someone in that way.
Like a debate.
Yeah. So there are people that like love speech and interview. My first year, I hated speech and interview because I was nervous, anxious, wasn't used to public speaking. By my senior year, I still was like, I felt I had like, by that point, I had done plenty of interviews for jobs. So I felt comfortable with that. You peeking out?
I just noticed. Cover him up.
Popping through.
It's been there the whole time. You haven't said a single word.
I looked at it though. Yeah.
It was cute.
It was all right. It was showing.
Yeah. Okay.
Speech, I had a fucking blast with my speech senior year because my junior year I made it like a serious speech. My senior year I was like, I'm just here to have fun. So I wanted like
I don't care about winning.
Well, and I did care about winning. I cared a lot actually, but I knew that if I was talking about a speech that I actually had fun with and let myself have fun talking about this thing, in theory the judges will have fun, and that will reflect well on me.
It's almost as if people are doing things that they would like to do and are encouraged to do so and don't feel as though they're forced to do something they don't really want to do, they're able to put more of their what could be called a soul into it, like that it's not just an assignment, it's not just a task, it's something. No, I did it just because I don't know, it was fucking fun. Like I don't know, man.
Yeah, like
I just really wanted to like learn about it, or like I really wanted to like do a cool speech, and like this happens to be the topic, but like I'm more focused on like the presentation part of the speech. Like the content doesn't really matter, which that's like a whole other thing for speech people that are like if you're good at like debate, like because of like you're really good at using like logical like fallacies and stuff, like and calling, like you can be a debater that's really good and not know jack shit about it.
The topic, yeah, like
because you undercut your opponent.
Yeah,
if that's the point, is to win.
Yeah, my first year's speech, I was coming at it from the perspective of I was like, I don't know how to give a speech, so I was going into it with something that I was comfortable with, which was writing and essay work. So I basically adapted like an essay of mine to turn it into a speech, and it was good. It was a good speech, but like it was a little lifeless because it was based on a research paper, like, because it wasn't something like I cared about. It
doesn't feel like you're speaking in your speech. It feels like you're kind of just like you're kind of giving a verbal essay. You're presenting a speech, and there's a difference.
There is a big difference, but that was where I was comfortable at that point.
Which is better than doing nothing.
Exactly. That was how I could give the best speech at that point in my life, was to fall back onto things I was comfortable with, which was my research, my writing. Yeah.
Same old adage of like, you like everyone's like, you know, you got to just do your best. You know, you got to give 100% every day. And it's like, no. 100% like your best every day is completely varying. There are days where you can operate at your 100%, and those are fucking awesome days. But there are many days where like shit, I've had some in like even just like the past couple like months where like I wake up and I'm like, it's a 10% day. Yeah. Like where I got up, I got changed, I did some work, I was upset or whatever, but like I did my one thing today. And like that was the best that I could do that day, because you can't operate at 100% all the time. You know, you think of any tool or machine that you do. If you leave your computer on and like rendering like videos all constantly, never giving it a chance to like rest or do like operate at less than that 100%, your computer's going to die. Like you're going to burn it out relatively quickly.
Yeah.
So, you know, and also if you ever need to get back to 100%, you sometimes need to just stop like take a break for a day or two. You know, it's even like you say the same thing with like tolerance for things, but just like let yourself have rest, because then you're going to be able to perform so much more instead of trying to push. Same thing for like burnout.
Yeah.
Like if you're worried about what'll happen, it's like, well, what'll happen if you keep going while you're burnt out? You're just going to hate it more and more. How about you just say, fuck it, communicate that you're going to take a little bit of time and just focus on something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was the other thing I always liked about Academica was it was like focus on the things that you like, you know, like pick the topics that you know you really could like knock out of the park and focus on them and study on them. But you have to take every test no matter what. You got to try everything.
Yeah.
But you don't have to like throw 100% into everything. It's like
I do not expect you to get 100, like to get top score in everything.
Exactly. So I always really appreciated that it forces you to try a lot of things and to dabble in a lot of things. And even the things that you know you're going to do poorly and you have to give them a try. But you don't have to like hang your hat on that kind of a thing. Like I would like, you know, like I would be like, I know I'm going to do good in social science or whatever. So I had to focus really hard. The year when it was economics, I was like, I'm not going to do well because it was my junior year. I hadn't learned, like I did economics classes senior year and in college. So it was like, I don't know what, I'm not like prepared for this. But I had to do it every time anyway.
I took government and econ like online over the summer.
Yeah.
Primavera.
So I always appreciated that it was like, you have to do everything, but you don't have to like, you know, throw your entire like life into every single one of them. Pick the things that you like and do those.
You can't throw your whole ass into everything.
Exactly.
Anything worth doing is worth doing half-assed. I mean, except for like nuclear launches.
Things that really matter.
Yeah.
And like life and
showing
death.
up as a parent, you know.
Yeah, you should definitely like try pretty hard.
We should want to. And if you don't really want to, then you should try talking to somebody, because like it's okay to have a feeling to have like a bad negative feeling. It's not okay to be aware of it and then to choose to not better yourself.
Yeah.
Unless it's truly not what you want to do, which then like understand that, you know, your decisions will have consequences. Everything okay also?
I don't know.
Okay.
They're being weird.
Okay. Okay.
It's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Just that last bit.
Just that last bit.
Not that there was a bit to do.
There wasn't a bit to do.
Oh.
Or just joshing.
Just Jewish. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool though. Like,
Yeah, it was cool.
it seems like it had a really like strong impact on you in ways that you didn't necessarily like realize at the time, but like kind of it's one of those in looking back.
Especially junior year, I didn't realize like what it was doing for me. By senior year, I had a pretty good idea, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually like really beneficial, and I really am having a good time." I mean, it was helped by the fact that like I was doing it with people that I really liked. So like having friends and stuff with it was very nice.
But I think like sticking with anything, like even if you get like a first roadblock, like just stick with it a little bit, and you'll start to realize like, you know, a lot of things are different.
Yeah.
Like I've been very reminiscent lately because like on Thursday, technically, will officially be my 2-year channelversary. I'm not gonna do a stream though on Thursday, like the actual formal day,
Right.
because I can just stream on Friday and then kind of like have like a fun like whole. I'm very scared to do it because I don't really know how to, and I need to just get over that and like have something like published by the end of the day today and like just go with it, and I can continue to adapt it. But like to have a fun like subathon of like I'm like, I don't think I have anything going on next weekend. So like, I don't realistically, like, I'm not going to stream all throughout the night, like a never ending stream, but it'll be like, okay, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to like wake up. I'll be back live at like, 9 a.m. and like, we'll continue going, whatever.
Yeah.
With like, incentives and all of that. And like tons of fun little stupid shit. It'll be a good time to celebrate.
Ew.
Okay.
Don't email people that. That's weird.
Okay.
Unrelated to that. Sorry.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
There's a lot happening, and I'm like,
do we need to take a second?
no, it's fine.
Okay, we can take like a 5-minute break for us, like when we want to transition to question time.
Yeah.
because of the pause feature.
Indeed. Yeah. Don't send people unsolicited things through the email.
Oh,
how about that? We'll leave it at that.
Damn. Yeah. I don't remember what I was just saying. Oh, unless you have something, I do have my 2 little points that I thought of it. Because talking about like school stuff.
Yes.
The gifted program. I remember when I was in school in California, I believe it was called GATE because out here it's called SAGE.
SAGE, yeah.
Yes. So when I was in California, I was in GATE, and it really wasn't all that different for the most part. Like, there was just like, sometimes I'd go to like, like I already knew how to do like algebra. Yeah. Kind of like, and realistically, like, like looking back, I'm like, it just got me a little bit further ahead, but mostly because like, okay, cool. Like, this is what we're teaching at this, for 4th graders, for 5th graders.
Yeah.
And like, you're a little bit past that. So like you have a pretty good understanding. So like, we're willing to teach you a little bit more. Yeah. And like, ultimately with math, like that's kind of where it ended up, like being the end of it. So like, I don't like it that much, but I remember I qualified for GATE. And I was going to be like starting in 6th grade, like in like formal full-time GATE, like more than I already was. Cause I had tested in at the end of like 5th grade and like was in it or whatever, like for most of 5th grade. And then when I came to Arizona in 2004, I believe it was 2004 or 2000. It might've been 2006. No, cause we started high school in 2007. So it was 2004.
Okay.
I tried out for SAGE. And I didn't make it by like 1 or 2 points.
Okay.
I was friends. One of my first, my first friend was Zach, and we've been best friends ever since because he asked me to sit with him at lunch. But one of my friends that was like in my class, 6th grade, was Brendan, and Brendan is a very smart person. He is very intelligent. Yes. And
Brendan is not Brandon, by the way.
Different person with an E. But I won't tell you where it is. But like he can be an ass. Yep. He 100%, at least when we were kids, very much of a pretentious know-it-all. And I've told the story of the one time I got one thing right, and it
went up on him.
Whatever. But I also like do not wish any ill on him. Unlike the other dude. Brian.
Oh yeah,
fuck Brian.
Fuck him.
God damn. Anyway, but like I distinctly remember this one time where like he was like doing his like SAGE math homework, whatever, and I looked at it. I'm like, oh, I actually like no dude. I was like, oh, he's like struggling with something. I'm like, oh, well, do you want me to take a look at it? Like I know, and he goes, you wouldn't know how to do it. I'm in SAGE. You didn't make the cut. Was like what he said to me, like, because he like I said that I didn't,
right,
and I was like whatever, and I like looked at it and I'm like, oh, I solved it, and he goes, no, you didn't, like your answer's wrong, and he like goes to like ask the teacher for some help and gets to that answer and just was so like pissed off for the rest of the day that like I knew, because I'm like it wasn't like I never viewed it as like a dynamic or anything like that, and I don't know if he intentionally did. Like, I don't want to, like, put that on him, but, like, also when you're, like, kids, like, we're, like, 12 here, like, very much it's just, like, oh, you're, this kid who just transferred, and, oh, I am smarter than you. But, like, you got, like, you clearly, like, don't struggle, like, like, but I'm smart. I don't know if that was the case. But, like, it's just a very funny memory to me. But it made me so mad that, like, I didn't make it into that program, because then I was still, like, honors AP all through high school.
Right. Which
I also feel like is... Sometimes I feel like I feel like the gen ed classes, you have to work harder, because although the AP and honors classes are harder, it felt like everybody just cheated all the time. Like it was more of like how...
I think everybody cheats everywhere though.
That's probably true then, honestly. Yeah. Like there's a few people that will do the hard work and then everyone else just tries to coast. And I think that like it's also a problem of school of like, are you being taught things you actually like want to learn? Like school now, like back, did you take A-Push?
Yeah.
Do you remember the summer before A-Push, how we had to like, they had a book list that you had to buy. You had to do all these little tasks, like make flashcards and stuff.
Yep.
I fucking hated it. I did not want to do it that summer. Yeah. But now, like as an adult, I'm like, oh, that would be kind of fun that I have to like make all these little things.
Right.
Because like I don't like
It's
have to do
novelty.
it. But not for a college class. I wouldn't
Right, no,
want to.
that's
That's not
different.
fun. But like high school, because I know I could do it.
Right.
Like that would be kind of fun. And so, but like I think I've mentioned it before, but there was you talking about like Akadeka and like leaning into the things you liked. Something that like one of the most creative things I've ever done in school, or rather like an opportunity, was in 6th grade. We did this. The topic was like it was China, and so like Chinese history stuff. And I remember that like it was like this whole project is made up of a bunch of different tasks of things you can do to earn the amount of points, like to get 100 on the thing, whatever. And so like there was like checkpoints. It was like throughout the whole semester or the quarter was like this project thing. And that's kind of all you did for social studies. Was like you could like writing it like an essay was like a shit ton of points because no one wants to do it.
Yeah.
And you could do different things to like, it was a way to interact with the information creatively, and it gave you so many options that you could do whatever you wanted. And one thing that I really wanted to do was like for I think it was like for 20 points or something like that. I don't remember how it all shook out, like however, like maybe you needed like 245 points or some shit like that, but like you could make the like you had items like if you made a crossword, that was one of the things you could do. Make a crossword that works and uses all the words and like come up with like the clues that are good so that someone could solve it.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. And you know me.
I do.
I am not a precise person. I do not do well with precision without like a lot of practice. Spoiler alert, that's how a lot of people are. And like as I've come now later in my life to embrace the scuff and lean into it, because leaning into your weaknesses is where you find your uniquenesses, is like I worked so hard. And like I didn't have graph paper or anything, so I just had to use copy paper and with a pen and no ruler.
Yeah.
I just did the best I could, and like it looked fine. And I like had some black areas because like, you know, like make it look like a crossword. And I remember like being so excited. I got like 9 out of 10 points on it. And it was like, well, like you should have used graph paper, which I'm like, I feel like I did the assignment. I should get the points. Just because I didn't wow you with it doesn't mean I shouldn't get full points. But I understand like, you know, there's like some effort to it too. Like if you look like you did it, but you phoned it in, like you didn't, you know, whatever, which it wasn't a phoning it in. It was just, I did it. Here we go. I just didn't give it like a second run through. This other girl, I don't even remember her name. She had like Rachel, I think her name was. And like, she was one of the smarty pants kids, and she had like done it by hand, like beautifully done with like the whole page was like black, like you would have pulled it out of a newspaper. Right. And she got like 15 out of 10 points or whatever it was. Right. And I remember that moment a lot. And for at least, I think when I was in 6th, because now it's like, I don't even remember exactly how I felt back then. I'm kind of, am I just am I imparting my own feelings? Right. But like, I remember being really jealous that like, it was so pretty. And I was like, how did you do it? And she goes, well, I just like took a lot of time. She's like, hey, you had to use like rulers and stuff. She's like, I went through a lot of rough drafts. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, how did she know to do that much effort? And like, that's when I realized, like, conversation that I had with you earlier, but like, I didn't realize it then. But as I look back on it, it's like, well, like, they just had a different idea of it. And they just were like, well, I want it to look like that versus like, I want to get something as close to what I want. And like, that doesn't mean that like my ideals or her ideals are better than the other, because like I don't value necessarily things like, to me, things don't need to be perfect. Like if it's, you know, C's get degrees, C's are passing. It just makes you feel bad. But like you got 70% of something is pretty good. And like, I think that like that's kind of like it fucks with kids' self-esteem a bit too, like the grading system and like percentages and like not having a better understanding of like what that really means. Because it's like, you know, if you get like a C, you know, you got 76, like, well, you got like 76% right, like that's really good. It's just that like we want to also showcase anyone who like exceeded really well versus like, well, C is average.
Right.
But it's like, well, technically shouldn't the average be for 50% because you got half?
Well, but most people wouldn't get 0.
That's true.
So it's the average.
It's a skewed average.
Yeah. So you're not getting the actual like average of the questions. You're getting the average of the performance on the questions. But yeah.
Maybe I just wish I could just go back in time at certain points in my life and just tell my younger self things and relax a little bit. And maybe then also just try to like remember that feeling the next time that I'm being down on myself and be like, whatever. One last thing and then we can move on. I got to find the picture, which I'll do during the break. But there was this picture of like a meme tweet that someone posted in my server, or maybe it was Sid's server. I don't remember which, where it was like, you know, like a Tumblr post of a conversation thing. And it's like, you better not be using the fictionalized version, the memory of me in your head to talk bad about yourself now, would you? Like, I'll have to find it because now it feels weird that it's like all disjointed. But essentially, like, I didn't know at first. I'm like, oh, is this like a dead friend? Or it's just like, you know, hey, like when you're being down on yourself and you're being mad, like, you know, you're just yelling at yourself. You know, you're not using your idea of me.
Whose voice are you imprinting on?
Are you using me to talk bad about yourself? Because I wouldn't talk to you like that. So why are you putting words in my mouth to make you like? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And like, it hit me in like a spot where I'm like, yeah, actually, I should stop that. Like, because it is always my own voice, but I'm like, why am I just assuming what someone else would think, like what you would think, or like what, you know, like my work would think, or whatever. Like, you know, assuming this when almost always you're always overly wrong. Like, you're almost always like so far off from how people like would have reacted, and it's like, why we gotta hold ourselves to such high standards?
Yeah, there's a I can't remember what it was from. It was a post on something that I read where it was.
There was a post in some capacity, and it went like blah 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 blah.
But Laramie's not that kind of school.
Laramie, there it is.
But yeah, basically, it was like a conversation between this girl and her boyfriend, and she said something to the effect of like, you know, I just feel like every time I message you that, you know, like in the back of your head, you're thinking like, oh my God, she's so annoying. Like, she's such a waste of my time. Like, I hate that she's bothering me like this, that, and the other. And then the guy just responded with like, I wish you wouldn't think I would think like that, because I wouldn't, because I love you.
And I don't
think like that. And it's like, oh yeah, there's some perspective there.
Which like it feels embarrassing, but also like that just goes to show like how important communicating is. Like, if you're feeling insecure, like it's scary to express that insecurity, but like if I told you that if you're brave enough to say that one sentence that like you could in 2 minutes finally be over something,
well, address the problem.
Well, the first step.
Yes.
You know, but like being able to be like, no, like I don't think like that, so please stop like thinking that like like it's
don't beat yourself up with words I wouldn't say.
Don't use me
Attributed
to beat
to
yourself
me.
up. Yeah, like when I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So like don't like be nicer. I'm just trying to change all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
small break
break. Yeah. So we'll see you guys in just a second. And we're back. It's quick question time. No,
that's not it.
That's what
I love. Quit wit.
I think we should go back. Question time.
When is it? Yeah,
it was a classic.
We just
Season 3's here.
I'll
baby.
go with whatever.
I'm Bud Light up for whatever.
As Kelly Rowland once said in seminal classic song "Down for Whatever," I'm down for whatever.
Okay.
When it comes to you, I could make love on the floor. That's the next line.
Oh, not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
I hope
grounded.
you put a blanket down though, or something.
Yeah. Well, just like knee pads.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Like,
a little something.
It's not good for your joints. You start to realize it. And like it's
ancient
like,
machine.
Is it fun getting railed on the floor when like you got carpal tunnel from trying to stand up or like from trying to keep up?
Listen.
It's tough.
Listen.
All right. Quick wit.
Questions.
First question. What's up, hot dog?
What's your part, dog?
In honor of episode 69.
Is it?
Is it?
Is it really?
It might be.
Is it episode 69?
I forgot.
Oh my god. I didn't realize it was episode 69. I'm a Cancer. Their symbol's 69.
Oh, I'm a Leo. I like to tear it off.
Yeah. I like to pinch.
I like to go fast and hard.
And
And it's over too quick.
And then I cry.
And that's why I love 69. Hot Dog asked, in honor of episode 69, what's your favorite dinner food? What's your favorite position in the movie theater? Front, back, middle? And what's the last movie you saw in theaters?
Back. I don't understand how anyone could want to sit in the front.
Yeah. Well, I think that the most optimal that I read somewhere from like a sound engineer is like upper, like, so it's in the middle section, like middle of wherever you're at, but then like in the upper third of seats.
Yeah.
But trying to be like close to like that, like 1/3 of the way down, because that's like where the sound engineer, like when they're like testing the movie and stuff, it's like they're listening from there, so that's kind of more like optimal. I don't like having to watch movies from the side, like on the sides. I'd rather be in the middle, and I'll like go back up. The only time I've ever done movies where I sat in the front row was for all of the Harry Potter movies, pre J.K. Rowling being a piece of shit. And because like my dad took me to the first one and it was so full that we could only sit in the front, and then that just became the thing. We just sat in the front.
That unlocked a memory. I have a distinct sensory memory of I went to go see the 4th film, The Goblet of Fire. And it was super packed. And so me and my sister went to go see it. And
Political Action Committee.
And so we got stuck sitting in the front, the back of the front, but the front. And I specifically remember while I was sitting there watching the scene where he's like in the bathroom and he's like opening the thing egg underwater and stuff with Moaning Myrtle and all that. Well, he's like in the water, and then like Moaning Myrtle shows up and he's like, oh my gosh, like, because like, you know, the boy's just like trying to bathe and she's trying to like be a creep. And
who's also like a 35-year-old woman playing this like 13-year-old, which is just like it's all fine. There's whatever, but it's just very funny because it's very obvious.
There's a lot going on. And and so I remember though looking at the part where he's like sitting in the water with like, you know, like his chest is out of the water, and I was looking at it and I was like, this screen is really big. I was getting bored, and I was like, this screen is really big, and like his nipple on this screen is probably like as big as my head. And that's wild to think about.
Yeah. If you ever could meet Daniel Radcliffe, would you tell him about that?
I don't think so.
Not right away.
I don't think that's like very nice, because that might make him uncomfortable. And I don't think you should make someone like that uncomfortable.
If you had already met him a couple of times and he asked you, like, is there anything like weird or silly?
Can you tell me something about your feelings about my nipples
in The Goblet of Fire?
I'd probably tell him that.
I go, you know, I remember distinctly that like I thought that on the silver screen, like your nipple would be as big as my head, and I just have remembered that forever.
And that's stuck with me permanently.
Like, in not a weird way, not in any.
It genuinely wasn't weird.
It has had no impact on my life.
It was just like
a weird observation that has stuck with me.
Yeah, I was genuinely getting bored with the movie, and so my brain just started going places, and I was like, the screen's so big, and then I was like, so like the pictures on it are really big, because you don't think about it, because like it's, you know, in the distance, but I was less in the distance because I was in the front, so I was a little more aware of like
closer FOV,
the scale of it, and so I was like, damn, like if I literally somehow could like, you know, get up in front and stand next to the screen. My head's probably about the same size as his nipple. You could be
Eric Nippleface.
I could be. They could project his nipple right onto my face.
That's me.
And I don't want them to do that, but they could. And I thought about that.
What if we had a nipple instead of a face?
You ever think about that?
That's terrifying.
They say that the nipples are the eyes of the face.
And then you like lift up your shirt and it's just your eyes.
My eyes.
And your little mouth.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh, God. Sorry, I'm lactating and it's just, ew.
Crying.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what the last movie I saw in theaters was.
I went and saw M3gan or Megan.
Okay.
I went with my sister and saw that. And it was all right. It was pretty good. I do want to go see Cocaine Bear, but not because it's bad. Because like Ori said it was great, and like it's 100%
Right.
like it's what it says on the
It's
box.
meant to be that, yeah.
It's a bit gory. Denny said it was good, and I'm like, but gory, like
yeah.
it's good for what it is, where it's not trying to be, the next
Something.
Oscar winner. It's just
Right.
a stupid fun movie. Of like, yeah, I want to go see the dumb movie about the Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear.
Like that TikTok that I don't know if Ori or Sin had sent it to us in that group chat, but I don't know if you clicked it, where the guy's talking about like, this is not like a Marvel movie where you need to have watched the whole cinematic movie. All you need to know going into this movie is that it's called Cocaine Bear. You have all the information right there. You have the whole movie in the title.
Yeah.
And like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's no surprises. It's exactly what you think it is.
Que surprise.
Yeah. Okay, next question is from Sal Darren Thorane, if you would like to read it.
Sal.
Lurking Sal, that's a rare
Lurking
Sal.
Sal, one of his rare morphs. I have been...
Gotta go dark.
I have...
Imagine it's like a cephalopod, like a little like...
I don't want to imagine Sal.
Oh no,
as a
horseshoe
cephalopod.
crab. Sorry, horseshoe crab.
I don't want to imagine Sal.
No,
as a
that's his
crab
anamorph
either.
form when he's lurking because he's scuttering around.
Sal
Listening.
turns into a crab.
Like a horseshoe crab. Horseshoe crabs are cute.
Yeah.
I like
They're
them.
much cuter than normal crabs.
They're a cool animal. Like because
Yeah.
one, they don't look like a crab.
At all.
No.
Oh, at all.
Well, it's Kabuto.
Yeah.
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 Kabutops.
Mhm.
To be.
Is Sal a Kabuto?
You'd have to ask Sal.
A little hee for me.
A little haha. It's nearly that time of year. It's nearly April haha day.
Happy April haha day.
Uh,
I gotta go up to Sedona and retake that picture.
hell yeah.
You want to go on a trip?
No. Sal asks, I've been having a lot of fun lately looking into the etymology of different words, where they came from, how they've evolved over time, etc. I think my favorite one that I've learned recently is in music. You have sonatas, like Beethoven's famous Moonlight Sonata, and you have cantatas, which mean music to be played and music to be sung, respectively. Do you have any words you think the history of is interesting? Or, barring that, any words that you just really like the sound of?
Man, I wish. Now I'm like, fuck, I wish I had been thinking about this.
The word elucidate is fun. It's fun to say.
I think I've said this before, but the word serendipity fills me with serendipity because like it's just dippity. I like anything that any words where there's like a little run in them, like run of syllables, is very fun because you can like talk fast.
Yeah.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Every time I say this, always sound precocious.
Yeah, I don't know the whole.
I'm a little high. The
Chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang.
Not that. Not that. Chitty bang bang. We love you. Hi chitty low chitty. Everyone. No,
That movie sucks.
I fucking hate that movie. I
hated
parts
it
of
too,
it
but I
scared me
watched
as a
it.
kid,
Yes.
and the parts that didn't scare me, I hated. And my sister liked that movie, and I hate the songs of that film linger in my mind and will never leave. I'll never forget the song "Toot Sweet," and I don't want to talk about that movie.
Okay. You know, a movie I don't want to talk about, but what movie I like but I hate? James the Giant Peach.
I never see the movie.
Oh,
Read the book.
really? You've
Enjoyed
never
the
seen the movie?
book. Never saw the movie.
You should watch the movie.
I don't like that art style.
Yeah, no, it's uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
and what it really was for me was the rhinos in the clouds.
Okay.
Those terrified the ever living shit out of me as a kid, and like on a whole nother level of fear. It was very weird. Like in hindsight, like why was that so terrifying? I don't know, but like they just did a good enough job that it scared me. And like that movie's just like uncomfortable, and like that grasshopper man, like he was kind, but like that's an anthropomorphic grasshopper. That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Also, that cake is shrunk down real small to fit in a peach.
V small.
Mm-hmm.
V bucks.
Fortnite new season just dropped. They got rid of the tits.
Fortnite funties. There's tits.
There's one of the places on the map in Fortnite because they updated it. So like Tomato Town's not a thing anymore. Like with the newer season, like the Battle Royale map is a big island, and there's different zones of it that you can drop wherever you want, and you can travel. And like the Storm Circle will slowly go in on one of the points. You never really know. One of the places is called the Faulty Splits that I and like Fading like like personally just I like to drop there. Got a pretty good little capture zone, and the reason it's called that because there's like a little town there with like the upper cabins where the flag is, and then there's a bowling alley.
Okay.
So the faulty splits is because it's a rundown alley.
Okay. Yeah.
With the most recent, like the new season just came out a couple days ago, and they added like rails that you can like skate on. So they changed up, like added new weapons.
Sunset Overdrive is calling.
Kind of, yeah, like it's really cool. It's Mega City. It's really cool, but Mega City is exactly where Faulty Splits was. So like Faulty Splits is gone, and the reason why I called it the tits is because when Fading forced me to play for the second time after 434 days from the first time they forced me to play Fortnite on my stream, and I know that because Fortnite. Yeah, they were like, your last like triumph in this game was 434 days ago, and I went, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like I kept trying to like remember the name of it, and at one point I was just like, yeah, like we got to drop down into the salty tits, let's go. And like since then it's just it's the tits.
It's like
yeah.
Two things. I'll answer Sal's question.
Yes, we do have to get to Sal's question.
Any words that I think the history of is interesting. I hate the word bespoke because I think it's so overused and tired and stupid. And maybe it was just like the research that I was doing. Maybe this is not the case, but from the research that I was doing, as I understand it, it's really not clear how bespoke came to mean what it means now.
Bespoke.
Because like it originally started as like literally talking about like speech, like bespoke, like it was like a form of saying like having spoken or something. But then somehow it has now turned into meaning, like artisanal, cultivated, like a bespoke experience, which
like I feel like
the linkage doesn't make any sense.
I feel like the word is more of a vibe.
I think it came, and maybe this is just me like spitballing, but I think it came maybe more from like an experience or something that was like so good or so individual to you that it's worth speaking about. Okay. And then it's warped that way. Maybe. Either way, doesn't make sense. Like the word bespoke does not convey its meaning. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
There's a word I am thinking of, but I'm trying really hard to remember what it is because like it's a word where the way that I pronounced it is apparently incorrect, but like the UK might pronounce it like it technically could be pronounced either way. Do you know what? I think you know what word I'm talking about because you've corrected me on it before. I don't remember what it is.
I don't know, but that made me think of something else. So like, I recently fell back into Thomas the Tank Engine, specifically because I got recommended randomly this YouTuber who talks about like Thomas the Tank Engine, like particularly like the old books, like the actual like Railway series books that I read as a kid, and like really interesting content. It's like good. It's not, it was actually like really interesting. A lot of it was like the behind the scenes of making the show and stuff like that, like from when I was a kid. One of the things that he mentioned was that he talked about at like the harbor, the key, which is spelled Quay. And as a kid, I always thought it was pronounced Quay.
Quay, yeah.
And so like when I would read it, I always said Quay. And I did not realize until I saw this random video about Thomas the Tank Engine a week ago that I was like, oh my God, that's pronounced key.
Are you sure that's correct? Like, did you end up looking it up to see if that guy was wrong?
No, he's right. It's the key. It was a wild time.
The word I'm thinking of is like, it's not entomb. It's not
scones?
Like, no.
That's a fun word to say.
That is fun. It's nothing like that. It's just, I'm really mad because like, I know I've said it before. Yeah. Like, it's a word where like, I feel like I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's like not, like part of it is silent. Yeah. And but like, you've heard it both ways and I can't remember it.
One of my least favorite words of all time is obfuscate because the mouthfeel, horrible. Yeah. Horrible. Who wrote that word? The thing that you reminded me of though was when you're talking about like 400 and something days and like Fortnite tells you. So I was over at Brandon and Taylor's and Carrie was over and we were talking about it's empty.
No, I for whatever reason it just like made me nervous being so close to the computer that we don't use.
The stupid computer. We somehow ended up talking about RuneScape. And so then I was like, do you guys remember Adventure Quest?
Yes. Oh, dude, in browser?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
So get into this. Adventure Quest is still around, and it hasn't changed. It's still Adventure Quest from 2007.
It still
baby.
works? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like Flash didn't break it?
Oh, yeah. And that's their selling point, is that they're like, we haven't changed since 2007. Like, just come back and have some good old memories. And they're like, your account is still here. All of your information, all of your, like,
I mean, I don't remember.
all
any
of your
my login
items and stuff are still
but-
there. So I went to Adventure. We were talking about it, memeing. So I was like, I have to see. So we went to AdventureQuest.com, and they were like, it was like, give us your email, and we'll like give you your recovery data. So I entered like my old email, like my old like kid email, and they emailed me the information on my account.
And you had the old email information, like you knew how to get into it. Because that's the thing I have.
Yeah.
I don't remember how to get into any of it.
And so I signed back into my Adventure Quest account from 2005. That like it had all of my old gear, all of my old skills. It was so amazing. I was like, oh my.
You never got to like run around or anything. It was always like, but I remember the
It's just like
battles were fun.
Yeah, that was basically all there was. But I was like, it's all here. All of my, like, none of my gear has changed. None of my pets have changed. Everything, the art style is the same. It is a little portrait in time. And I was like, oh my God, I got my old account back. And it was so fucking thrilling.
That's me with Neopets, where like I have no vested interest anymore. But I'm like, I do my betting every once in a while when I think about it, because now my account is so old that like the food club makes you money.
Yeah.
Because it's based, you can only bet so much based on like 2+ however many days old your pet is or your account is. But because I got back into it because I remembered Neopets and I could remember my old emails and shit back in college, like my freshman year of college, I still, to date it, my Neopet, my one that I had made, my Youre, who's no longer a Youre, is named Mercer_Frey because Skyrim was like all we were playing at the time. So like it's a totally dated little thing, but like I'm like, you know, figured out how to like start making some money, and like I'm like, I got like fucking 16 mil, which is not a lot for people, but like also
Feels
like
a lot.
Depending on the day, I could go and
Sounds like
make
a
2
lot.
million off a food club for just taking 5 minutes to set up some bets off of what Garrett said.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so when I signed in,
Anyway, it's very fun to go back and like
when
enjoy it for knowing that it has no value.
all of those I was reminded of because when I signed in, it was like, you last signed in 5,880 days ago. And I was like, oh,
Damn.
my God.
Sheesh.
It
Goodness
was a wild
gracious.
time.
Yeah.
It was a wild time. What's I give you a
Well,
question?
now I kind of want to play.
I give you a question, Sal.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good
About
question.
words.
I
You really
trying to-
stayed on topic.
I'm really mad because I can't remember this fucking word. I'll eventually remember it, but I don't know. I don't, you know, I feel dumb because I can't think of it, but the truth is that like,
Why would you?
I don't really care. Well, that's just it. I'm like, I don't think I've ever really put a whole lot of stock into like making a point to remember really cool words. So that's not a fault or like bad on me. It's just, no, I just haven't really. And that's kind of interesting. I'll be more mindful of it moving forward.
Yeah. I always like when like you say a word and you're like, that word felt good. That's why I like elucidate. That one feels good. Elucidate and obfuscate feel like two sides of the same coin.
Superfluous. I think I've said that before. I like that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Dingy.
Buoy.
Buoy's fun.
Buoy's a good word.
Baba buoy.
Baba buoy.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Do you want to?
Sure. I mean, I haven't done much today.
Oh. It's
I don't know
nice
what
to hear.
Hype Tiny is, but
Well, it's the little tiny symbol.
Moxies or Tiny Sparrows?
Tiny sparrow. Moxie's isn't a question.
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, I guess
Moxie's
it is,
trash.
but-
It's okay. I'm friends with Moxie.
Uh-huh.
Tiny Sparrow asked, "Quenching time for the boys. What was the peach part of your day, and what was the pit part? Pitch being the good part, peach being the good part, pit being the bad part.
Is this
Or
a new?
least best part.
Is this a new thing? Peach and pit.
It's the first I've heard of it.
That's mostly why I was like this. I was like, because this is, I've never heard of such a thing. What is happening?
It is like, I mean, granted, it is like 4:45 on a Sunday, and it's like we should have done more things.
You know what the peach part of my day was? When I went outside to go get the mail, and I was like, it is lovely out. It's lovely, gal.
For me, oddly enough, the peach part of my day started
Seeing me?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I was like watching some anime this morning. Licorice Recoil, which is just girls with guns, essentially, which I'm not all about. I will get into it another time. Not important, but like I have thoughts about that kind of trope because like there's a difference between like, okay, yes, they do like guns is part of it, but it's not the focus. But then there's the like, yes, this is very much all about guns, and it's, you know, cute little anime girls, and then like guys get real weird about it. And I'm not here about all that.
Okay, yeah.
But this is cute and wholesome for the most part, and at least enough to be enjoyable. I was sitting there and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm like, it's 11:45. What the fuck? And then like the episode switched over, and like I like paused or whatever, and my TV's like, oh yeah, it's 10:45, and I went, what? Is my TV off? Because like my phone says it's 11:45.
Yeah.
So I went to my phone and I wanted to check to make sure that like, because daylight savings times, everyone's springing forward, Arizona doesn't change, which
We don't do all that.
but like our phones, even if you set it to Phoenix, don't understand.
Mine does.
I don't know why mine does. I don't like auto, like I let mine just auto set, not like set to Phoenix. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But either way, I was like, oh, and they're like, there's new date and time settings available to you just on your next restart. And I was like, clicked restart now, restarted it, and it was like 10:45, and I'm like, ooh. And so I had suddenly gained an hour.
There you go.
And like that was a very like, oh,
And then you were still late.
well, that's the pit part of my day was like, well, and the reason like why I couldn't is because like under the mindset of like, oh, it's only 10:45. I'm like, I'll go ahead and like, I'll order some food. I'll have a little lunch.
Yeah.
And then I was like, shit, like I need to still get here. I need to eat and then like get ready. So I'm like, okay, let's do it at 1. Because then it's like, unless we were doing it first thing in the morning, like, gives everybody time to do some stuff. Yeah. And then I left and like probably was going to end up being like 10 minutes late. And then turned into fucking 30 minutes because every fucking free like exit or entrance onto the I-17 was fucking closed.
Yeah.
So I had to like keep doing like
Bobbing and weaving.
Mm-hmm.
Bobbing and weaving.
weaving and bobbing.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
The pit part of my day was receiving unsolicited emails.
Yeah.
In general, hate emails. Hate them.
Yeah.
Hate 'em.
They stress me out.
They're hateful. They're made by bad people. Generally. Actually, exclusively.
Yeah.
Always.
Why do I
Every email's bad. Nothing has ever been good in an email.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
Oh no, I got an email. The pit part of my day was when I got an email this morning saying that my Girl Scout cookie order has been delayed. And I thought, can I go 1 year where I just get
Mine didn't. We can have some.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. Yeah.
We can
I
have
mean,
some
like I ordered
downstairs.
mine late, quote unquote,
Right.
but like towards the end of the cycle. But that shouldn't matter. Although the problem that I had last year was not necessarily that like I didn't get them, but rather that like they showed up. We got put into the shared Luxor box.
No.
And so obviously someone just fucking took them, and I'm like,
People are bad.
I got the notification like and went as soon as I could.
Yeah.
And they were already gone. And I just like, it was like, is there any... Luckily, it was very sweet. They did send me a replacement box because they didn't have to.
Nice.
Because like, I would have paid for it too, but like, I was just mad because like, it's not that like buying $20 of cookies is the issues. It's that it's like you're paying $15 for shipping from Girl Scout Cookies of America.
No matter what the dollar amount is, if you don't get something you pay for, it's upsetting and understandable.
And I'm like, and the worst was, I'm like, it's not on you guys. It's
Right,
it's
of
like
course.
it's just the nature of like it got stolen. But I'm like, it's not like I got the text and then like fucked around for 2 days. It was like I got the text that like apparently it's there, and then like it was like 30 minutes or so before I could like get up and go. I'm like gone. Because why would it be in the shared box?
Gone but not forgotten.
No, not forgotten.
No, not forgotten.
Luna's Hewll.
Oh,
You know what?
I
liked
whatever's
Luna's
about to
Hewll. Do you remember that gun? So
yes, I didn't like it. It was a good hand cannon.
it,
I don't like hand cannons.
It was hard to get. It because it was
Yes.
one that you had to do. Before they made the solo freelance competitive Destiny 2 playlist. It was a gun that you got. It was a solar hand cannon that was good. It was really good in PvP. It was like low recoil, so it was really solid. There was a whole quest to get it, and like you had to like hit like mythic or whatever. Same thing to get like what was the Mountaintop?
Oh yeah,
Because like
yeah.
Mountaintop Recluse was a whole thing, and like I used Recluse up until I couldn't use it anymore. Same thing with Mountaintop.
Yeah.
And which is why Funnel Web is like the spiritual successor to it, because it feels the same as another Vice, thing. But then the not forgotten part of it was like, now you need to go hit max rank. And I remember in the day that I got Luna's Howl and I finished the quest was when we had taken or I had taken at the very least
A substance.
a substance,
I recall.
a one-time
I
use substance.
recall.
And I remember being like, guys, I can see the lines, like
I
everything's on a
remember you
grid.
saying
And
that.
like, and in all fairness, I somehow was playing the best competitive Destiny of my
doing
life
great.
on fucking acid. Just like, I'm gone. I have become one with this game.
Right.
And I was so disappointed that Anubis never once spoke to me.
Yeah.
Which the truth is like, I would have just needed to have taken more.
Anubis was just sleepy that evening.
I really took like one Listerine breath strip and said, I would like the experience now, please.
Yes.
Until the letters started moving.
My letters, allegedly, my letters started moving around,
Not confirmed.
around the same time as yours. And you kept looking at me being like, they're moving. And I was not yet ready in my heart of heart. I had to protect my peace.
I understand. The peace in your home, of your body.
The peace in my body home. And I was not yet ready to accept the situation that was occurring to me. So I kept aggressively stating that the letters were not moving as I watched them bounce around on that screen like a little
Which did
like a
nothing.
little wave.
Where I was looking for like, can someone like verify that I'm not I was
Indeed.
looking for hope in this storm.
Yes.
You shut off your light and said the lighthouse is closed.
I turned off the lighthouse
Because the storm
I
was
was
too
scared
scary.
of what I saw in that light.
In the flash of lightning, you saw what was on the waters.
So
and
I
you
turned
thought,
it off.
And then Tyler's crying to the Lion King.
And then once I leaned in, I was fine. I was like, girl, these letters done been moving.
You're like, all I need.
I was like, you got the color change and shit yet? I'm like, are the fish changing colors for you yet? Because they're changing colors.
you got
for
that
me.
like the pipe screensaver.
Oh yeah.
That 2-hour video. And being so sweaty.
That video wasn't 2 hours. That video was 8 minutes, and I put it on loop for 4 hours.
Really?
Literally.
Oh my
and
God.
I sat there and I stared at it. And that was all I wanted to do, and I had a great time.
I 2 out of 3 people loved it.
I had a lovely
I had a great time. I had a wild time.
I had a lovely time that night, allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Is there any more questions? I know we literally said like, we're kind of like cooling it on the questions, but also like, yeah, like we
Thoughts
got
on
time.
this one? I have something I have to say.
Yeah. If you have something you got to say, then say it. Bitch.
Space Antlers
Mm-hmm.
states, rather it's a question. Question for both. What character archetypes do you find yourself drawn to the most when interacting with a story? Also, do you find that you're more interested in characters that you can personally relate to or ones very different from yourself? I have to talk about the lovable rogue archetype.
Go off.
The lovable rogue archetype annoys the shit out of me so much because it's right there in the name. Lovable. They're like a lovable rogue character is constructed on the premise that the viewing audience not only will but needs to like them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't appreciate that. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it because I'm like, it's first of all, the archetype has been used a lot, which like all archetypes have. I feel like in particular, internet culture very much latched onto them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have become more prevalent for whatever that's worth. And sometimes the lovable rogue ain't lovable. Sometimes Nathan Fillion's just annoying. Seems like a lovely man.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just fucking annoying.
Sometimes you're getting a character, and sometimes it just feels like you're getting Nathan Fillion, and it's not a dig on him. It's rather like
Good for him.
typecasting.
Good for him for like defining himself so fiercely that like the world just like now thinks of like lovable rogues as him. Like good for him. I hope he's really bankrolled that. I think he has.
Yeah, I think he's capitalized on it a lot.
But like, I'm tired of it. Also, who is like the next generation's Nathan Fillion?
Pedro Pascal,
He's as old as Nathan Fillion.
but he's currently daddy.
But Daddy is not the same as his lovable rogue.
I guess. Well, there's also now just so many more lovable rogues, like Flynn Rider in Tangled.
Yeah.
Is a lovable rogue. Eugene, I think his real name is. I don't remember. I only played Kingdom Hearts 3. That's all I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is something that, like,
I just wonder which actor is going to take up the mantle from Nathan Fillion
of the lovable rogue, if there even will be one.
Because, like, Nathan Fillion, I wish him nothing but a long and illustrious career, but, like, one could argue that he's aging out of the role of the typical lovable rogue, since they tend to be younger. So I just wonder who's going to take the mantle and be the new Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. So my answer to this is not an answer to this.
Right.
Because, like, I don't really think about character archetypes. And, like, or I can, but, like, I wouldn't have something like, if you bring up one, like, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, now I can start thinking of it. But, like, on my own, it's a little tough. Right. But more of, like, story archetypes. I'm real tired of just predictable stories that lean hard, that make it seem like something is going to happen, but you can tell from the moment anything happens exactly what's going to happen, and then it exactly happens that way, and it's not a satisfying payoff.
Rohan dying.
My reason for this is when I watched Glass Onion. I don't know if you've seen that yet. It's like, genuinely, it's very fun, and it's very satisfying in a different way than Knives Out was.
Okay.
Because I don't want to spoil anything for it, but, like, it is not just the same movie. It is very much of, like, looking at the trope from a different angle, and providing something really, like, satisfying when, like, you're solving the mystery. And I will preface that, like, I've DM'd a lot of, like, Dungeons and Dragons, like, early beginner content. So, like, I'm really good at, like, picking up on things. Like, I'm always looking for a Chekhov's gun. I'm always looking, like, I know a lot of, like, I may not be able to describe how I know it, but I have a really good, like, I watched all of Gravity Falls, and I was, like, time after time predicting exactly what would happen. But it was satisfying because I was like, "Ooh, I was right. Cool."
Right.
Most
delivers
of the time.
on it.
It delivers, because even though that's the story beat of the, you know, the wheel of story, like, those are beats, and that's because if you boil everything down, yeah, everything seems boring. But it's like, well, what did you do with it? Was it still entertaining?
Yeah.
Like, Glass Onion, very satisfying. Very, very satisfying, and, like, very, very ultimately good, in my opinion. Lightfall campaign story, where we had it just clearly, Final Shape was going to be separate, and they should have changed,
cobbled together this bullshit,
or they should have changed the marketing. Like, and that's why, like,
set an expectation.
They set a real high expectation and then under-delivered, but it's because, like, you kept telling us this.
Right.
And that we're finally getting answers, and then you give us, like, nothing.
This.
But we could go on and on about the Lightfall story. It's
biggest, already 2 hours. That would have to be a different episode.
All I'm going to say is this. They talk the entire time about this veil and about how important it is. And, like, yes, if you played previous seasons, you know that, like, Osiris saw it, and, like,
it still didn't give any more context to know that.
We knew that we needed to get to the veil. We knew that the witness wanted the veil, and all we knew is that, like, apparently Neomuna uses the veil to do it
in some capacity.
And at no point at all in the story did anyone take one voice line to go, so what exactly is the veil? Because if the whole point was that the veil is a mystery and you don't really know what it is, like, at least just acknowledge that the characters in universe also don't, like, it, like, you can just say that it's a mystery and it doesn't make it a bad mystery.
Right.
Like, just be like, oh, like, so what exactly is it? Like, we had so many opportunities to just ask the people, and, like, I think they kind of do, but, like, not in a way that's just like, well, like, it's more of like, you know, the veil is power, you know, powers, like, we're all, like, wired into it for the Cloud Arc. It powers the Cloud Arc. And it's like, okay, but like what is it? Like they could just say, well, we use it as like a power source, but to be honest, I don't really know what it is. And like there's a few smart people that like really know, but like honestly, it's kind of an enigma, and we probably don't use it for what it's intended. Hey, you don't know what it is either. Cool, we're all on the same page, because playing through that whole campaign feels like you missed the first page of the syllabus.
That because the fundamental problem with it is you can go either direction. You can say that they don't even know what the veil is, and so it is a mystery, and everyone treats it like a mystery, or they know what it is and they talk about like they know what it is,
or like tell us that like we don't need to know,
or
more.
that we don't get to know.
Yeah.
Instead, every single person, including Osiris, a fellow guardian who should have no context for what it is, every single person is talking about the veil completely nonchalantly, as though it's already been established what it is, and we all know what it is.
Like you missed a cutscene.
It genuinely felt to the point where we were very confused, and we kept like doubting ourselves into thinking we had missed something, because we're like, we must have.
And because they never let you feel comfortable that like, okay, we don't, yes, you're correct. That feeling that you don't know what it is, you're supposed to feel that way. And we'd go, oh, okay,
Right.
we could then continue to be invested in the rest of the story. The story just keeps moving on, and you're like, okay, when are they going to...
opposite, where like everyone's talking about it like we already explained what it was.
I
You're
don't
fine.
care at all about what's happening anymore, because what the fuck is the point of what we're doing?
Yeah.
Like, how did you guys run this through drafts so many times and like not realize that like my theory of like they just were also involved in the story and the testing, that like they
Lost
knew
the
it.
forest for
So
the
like,
trees,
yeah, exactly.
If you want a brief summation of basically our exact feelings,
Word for word,
after having played it, watch Bife's video from right after he had finished.
It's about a
playing
19-minute video. It's like his lights on Nightfall or something. Or his
Yes,
views.
because it was so like validating and affirming.
Vindicating.
Because like when we listened to that video, it was like, oh my god, he's literally saying every single thing.
I
Almost
didn't believe
word
me
for
when
word.
you said that, and then I started listening to it, and I'm like, no. Like, I'm like, Eric
These
said
are
that
conversations
exact thing.
we said. This is something
Word-
Steve said.
the
This is something I
exact same-
said.
Felt-
Very good.
So the point that I'm trying to make though is that like the second that we saw Rohan, and they're like, oh yeah, they only have like a 10-year life cycle.
10 years.
From that, literally both.
And he's
you
not
and
a
I-
vendor, and the other one's a vendor.
You and I both. I could feel you also rolling your eyes and going like, so he's gonna die.
He's gonna die. How long is it gonna take?
And like, quite literally, like he does die, and I know like. The whole point is that like everything we do was pointless, which like is also okay. That's not a bad thing.
That can be a like
Yeah.
a story.
Like I'm not upset with like how it ended. Actually, like that's
I'm not-
fine.
I'm not mad at a story where we lose. That's interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, Destiny does normally.
Yeah,
honestly,
I'm mad at a story that has no emotional capital to
which
deliver on.
is just so like because they couldn't just fill us in on this one thing. It completely made us so disinterested in the rest of the campaign that like I've been helping Steph like on the legendary part, and I have a more appreciation for it having playing it for a second time, because I know what the veil is.
Yeah.
So
or at least
good.
as much as
or
as
like
anyone.
Well, yeah, which is just that it's like a weird, but like it doesn't matter. But like I know,
Right. You
I
know that you didn't miss anything.
I know that no one knows really what it is, and that like it's just we just know like we don't know why we need to stop it, or like we don't know what it is that we're stopping, but we just know that like they want it and we can't let them have it, which is all debated and blah blah blah. But like that type of story structure where like, oh, like the second this guy who's so close to retirement, which he doesn't retire, they die, but whatever, like cool. And then like where Rohan like makes a comment about I forget the guys, or what is their name? Nimbus. About Nimbus being like head empty, but like whatever. And then like Osiris repeating us back to that the next mission, because like I'm like, you gave us no time with anybody. And like everything felt
Every emotional beat feels unearned.
It really almost felt like they just had ideas for scenes.
It feels
and then
like an outline.
It
but they
feels like an
didn't put
outline, like
anything in the
nothing
middle.
like. They also, like what made, in my opinion, Witch Queen, like I don't think there was necessarily more or less missions than like in Witch Queen.
There was less,
but still, Witch Queen had a lot of like the next story mission, like okay, following the story quest log, Like, you need to go do, like, you're going and doing some, like, public event shit, like, in the overworld. So you're, like, exploring the new space. And it does help, like, make the story...
Familiarize yourself with it.
And what... Like, if you played just the missions,
location.
just the story, like the story quest, quote unquote, and like this is all about why it's a bad story, like you're hardly in Neomuna before you're immediately in the witness ships. And then it's like, well, why do I really care about Neomuna? Kind of like
Right.
I just don't, there wasn't enough. And like, after you've beaten it and you continue to do like Hall of Heroes stuff and all of that, like I have a much better appreciation. Like, it is really cool, but like, it was also this, like, it is so important that we do this. And like, not even you and I came up with so many better reasons for why Strand is important, for why it's this. Like, Strand is important because it's this weird function, like, of probably because the veil is so close that it allows it to kind of happen. And that, like, you know, I believe like Nimbus and the Cloud Striders, like, they see the screen stuff, they just don't know what it is. And like, because we're paracausal.
I don't think they see it.
Yeah, but like, for whatever reason, because of us, we can actually do something with it. And like, the reason why it's will destroy the darkness stuff is because they don't know about it. Like, they weren't aware of it. And so, but like, it's always talked about like it is the secret weapon, when really, well, it just destroys the suppression shields,
which goes away before you even fully master Strand, which don't show up afterward. But Anyway, I just like the, like, where, okay, you see Rohan's gonna do, like, it's like, okay, he's gonna die, and then there's a mission where like, well, Nimbus can't join you, so I'm gonna help you, and we're both like, I hope he doesn't die at the end. Here we go.
And then he dies at the end. Spoilers, but also, dude,
which the other thing too is, like, in of itself, that could even be fine. Not every story has to be fucking groundbreaking.
No,
but it's the way that they sold it as this incredibly pivotal, emotional moment. I'm like, I don't know this guy because you never showed him to me. Like, you never,
or like apparently he's a huge mentor to Osiris. But like, also, how long have
5 minutes that he's been on Neomuna?
How long have we been on Neomuna? They don't make that clear, because also the first cutscene of the campaign and the ending cutscene are the same. Well, they are, because everyone's still in the ships. Like, nothing has happened, which makes it obvious that they just cut it in half.
Right, because apparently they're still fighting the fleet. I'm like, our bullshit ass, like, you know, weekly, like, little ships that get wiped instantly were able to keep fighting the pyramid ships the entire time we were on Neomuna, to the point that no one left their ships.
Yeah.
Okay. Although I will say, in that cutscene, you know, the part where like it slices and it slices the ghost, it also slices the Guardian.
Oh, really?
It's like fuzzy because they're actually like closer to the camera, and the ghost is the focal point though. But if you like watch that back, the Guardian also like comes apart.
Oh, that's fucking nuts. It's sick. I'm excited to go into, like, I understand that like the final shape, which will be next year's expansion, like the final expansion for this saga.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm excited for
I do have faith that it will be good, which is, we said we weren't going to get into it.
We weren't going to go.
We can get into it next time. Okay. Anyway, yes. Also, yeah, the lovable rogues are just fucking annoying because, like, you're made to like them. They were cute at first, and now they're not.
It's tired
and wired.
I think go all the way up to Empress.
Okay.
I had checked in most of the questions.
Okay. All right. Oh, nope. Cancel. There you go. All right, so this is from Empress Arcana. Do you want to read? Or we could switch off, whatever.
Sure. Question time.
Eric
and Odie, the journey continues as you both pull the Page of Cups back to their seat. The Page of Cups looks up at the ceiling, noticing its royal blue color, decorated with luminescent stars. Wow, the stars look really pretty. This design brightens up the chariot, no matter if it's day or night. I wouldn't be able to create something like this from my magic.
Oh. The charioteer laughs. The inside of this chariot was enchanted by both the High Priestess and the Empress. They both wanted to put a smile on my face and thought this would do the trick. Parking the chariot to the side of the dirt road, the charioteer looks back at the three of you. Thank you for offering to listen to me. I'll be right back. I have to deliver this letter.
Watching the charioteer walk away, you take this moment to discuss with the page about earlier, explaining the importance of making a decision for themselves, not anyone else. Everyone has their own voice to express their choice, and even with good intentions, one's choices should never be taken from someone. The Page of Cups flushes in embarrassment, shaking their head. I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. I would never do that purposely to anyone I care for. Thanks for being honest with me. No one has ever taken the time to talk to me like this. I appreciate you both very much.
Bond unlocked. Page of Cups level 1. Ability unlocked. Page of Cups can now fall and cry for you in and out of battle.
You better work, Page of Cups.
Yeah. But also, yeah.
I will be delivering on that.
Like,
I will make you fall.
I'm not going to harbor, like, anger still towards Page of Cups. Like, hey,
no, it was a teachable moment and we taught.
Yeah. Like, and like, but like, we're okay. Like, we're all good.
Good.
But like, hey, like, I just want you to know, like, you keep doing that. Like,
Cry, weakling.
So, an owl flies over to the chariot, perching itself on the door, staring intently at you. The page's eyes widen. Whoa, an owl! It's our lucky day.
Turning its head to Odie, the owl speaks. Do you still have the flute you chose to take on your journey?
I took a flute. I did at some point. Yeah. Oh, my chalices! It talks. The page puts their hands over the mouth. The choices are as follows.
Oh.
Ask the talking owl who they are. Who are you? Oh, what a hoot. That's a good one. Pull out the owl-shaped flute. Ocarina, really. Owl Carena. That's good. The Owl Carena.
Owl Carena.
That just sounds like Owl Carena. Like, that's just like a lawyer.
Friend of the channel, Al Carena.
It's our lawyer.
He's also been struggling to get in contact with Rudy. We've been having a lot more one-on-ones with Al Carena. Mr. Carena, if you're nasty.
You pull out the owl Carena wherever it's been stored and play a little song. Maybe the talking owl wants a spur of the moment concert. Answer the talking owl by showing them a little song or showing them the flute, but don't play a little song.
Aww.
That was really bad. I apologize.
I think that I should pull it out.
Yep.
And go, I do have it. Would you like to hear a song? Because like if I toot the flute,
right, something could happen.
And the apocalypse happens.
What if something should happen?
Like, what if the owl was here to warn us to not play the flute?
Do you have the flute? For the love of God, don't play it.
Like, no worries.
No worries.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that.
See, I think that was not an option, but we're making it one.
We're making an option.
Notice this page.
Cry.
I don't know. What do you think?
I agree.
I think it's like, no, it seems like the most reasonable.
Also, it's now been brought to my attention that I have a heart out in 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I think was this it?
I believe that's it.
Let's see.
I think we can save that one for next time.
Okay.
If we want to answer it. I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But maybe for next time.
Yeah, we will save that one.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it's been a long time. We got a heart out. And I hope everyone has a really good day.
I hope you've enjoyed your time here, sluts.
Yeah, whores. Episode.
I didn't mean to hit this one, but
69, baby. Uh-huh. Yeah, I wish it did go a second time. It would be a little nicer. All right.
We could make that happen.
See you guys.
Goodbye.
Next time.